disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to BD Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is a good friend, Mr. BDA, flying solo for the moment, but of course we're going to be remedying that in a couple of moments. Before we get down to the fun, fellas, you know what this is. This is an open lines show, which means everyone is welcome. I will be posting a Discord link. It's going to be a Discord party. If you can join via Discord, I will of course post a StreamYeard link, and if you cannot join by either of those two venues and you want to contact us, you can certainly do so via the phone lines, which I will be opening as well. So fellas, it is going to be one of those shows where we do the questions of the day, because if we're going to be allowing a whole bunch of people, then otherwise everyone talks over each other, everyone talks for 20 minutes and we spend 2 hours on one subject. We're going to have to be very, very, very disciplined in the way we convey our ideas, fellas. Like Corinthians 14:40 said, something along the lines of all things should be done decently and in order. Okay? So that's the way we're going to be operating within the next couple of minutes. Before we do that, of course, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It really helps us out. And if you could wire a couple of shekels our way, you can do so via the super chat feature. That always helps. So I'm going to be entering the Discord here. If you don't know how that works, if you are a member of Discord and you want to join us through Discord, what you can do is, I'm going to show you how it works here. Hold on a second. There we go. So that's our Discord page. And, alright, I got two Discord pages. What's going on here? There we go. So if you go to the Discord, it might look different on your phone, but you should be seeing on the left-hand corner, on the left side of your screen, you should be seeing a room that says voice channels, and there's one that says BDA Boxing. So I'm going to be entering that soon, and as soon as I enter that, well, you can enter it right now, except no one's going to hear you. Once I enter, you will be on the air, so we're going to be doing that within the next couple of minutes. The way this is going to work is, of course, I have a few subjects here that we can throw around. There are about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, 6 subjects. So we're going to be discussing all of those, and then we're going to be focusing on each one for about 15 minutes. If I see that it's too many people and 15 minutes ain't enough, might bump it up to 20. But of course, we don't want to go beyond that. Otherwise, we spend too much time on one subject. Before we continue, by the way, shout out to everybody in the chat room. Ignorant Boxing, Jay Perez, Stray G Turo, Cerny Banders, Wexford, DJ, Dennis, Nderitu, Triple JJJ, The Shepherd, The Sons, Eric Roses. Let's see what people are saying. Claudio Monreal, who's been trolling lately, and poorly I might add, says, "What's up, Tyson Fury, docking?" See, that's one of the... I'm looking at the list of subjects here. No Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, because I am tired of talking up this subject. Now, of course, we aim to accommodate here over at BD Boxing, but if we, what do you want to talk about? Tyson Fury doing his gypsy lifestyle where he does what he wants. Wilder seems to be going into the esoteric and talking very metaphysically about how he's the king and he's coming back. He's been watching one too many Tony Robbins DVDs. I got no time for the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder thing. I have gotten tired of it. Just like I was with Tyson Fury prior to his return in, what was it, 2017? 2018? When did he come back? 2018, right? I didn't want to hear anything about Tyson Fury until he was actually in the ring. Alright, we got more people talking about. Cerny Bander says, "Parole me off the Discord ban." Well, see now, if you can't shitpost all the time and then be one desire to be taken seriously. Can't be either or. You can balance a fine line, that I will say, because I do that myself. But if you really got an axe to grind with us and you just want to shitpost, I don't see why I should let you back, man. Sorry. Hey, you're still here though. You're in the chat and you're able to listen and enjoy my olive smooth voice. So there's that. Shepherd the Son says he's 6'3". I'll talk about Usyk. Yes, of course. All right. Jay's just enter the voice channel. Worst case scenario, I think I can send invites to the voice channel. Shout out to Eric Roses, like I said. Oh, Official Scorecard Boxing in the house as well. Norman Luis, Triple JJJ, Blue Collar Sports TV, aka Del Boy. He says, "Salute, happy Friday." Indeed. Triple JJJ says, "Corinthians 1:13 is my favorite. If you scratch my back gets." I don't know if that's. I think he's kidding. I don't think there's anything as simple as that, man. Official Scorecard Boxing says no to BDA Passport. Stray G Tour says, "You use StreamYeard BDA?" Yes, we do. Well, actually, let me just. All right. Boom. There we go. I'm in the BDA voice channel Discord. So if you want to drop by, just click in the part where which I indicated. Hold on, let me show you again where it's at. So this is a Discord, right? And if you go to the left-hand portion where you see BDA Boxing, there you see my icon, and each time I talk, it lights up. Just click on the BDA Boxing on the speaker icon there, and you should be able to enter. While I wait too, or when somebody steps in and wants to talk, I will take the opportunity to open up a StreamYeard as well. Where should I put this box? I'm gonna put it right here. Actually, I should put it. I don't want to block the donors, but hey, listen. We've had the donors. We appreciate everything you do, but for this one, for aesthetic purposes, I do have to get rid of the box there, so that we can see who's here. Like I said, BDA Discord party, open lines Friday. Jump on in, fellas. Jump on in. Do not be afraid. It is imperative that you not be afraid. There we go. So I'm here by my lonesome. Somebody needs to step up. Shout out to John Gonzalez in the chat. Who else is saying? Hands Off Boxing Reviews says, shout out to my boy Calvin Henderson fighting on Showtime tonight. Ah, yes, indeed, Showbox. The infamous Showbox on tonight. Steven Schneider says, BD wants to go on a crusade armed with an 810 in Israel. No, I'm not going to go on any crusade for Israel. Rod Davis in the house as well. Shout out to Rod Davis. Still playing away on that guitar, I bet. I know I would if I could play the guitar as well as he could, as he can rather. Magic Man says, did you see the crazy Garcia versus Wallach fight? That should have been the real undisputed heavyweight championship right there. I didn't see that fight. I'm gonna catch it later on. All right. So listen, I'm gonna open up the StreamYard. Okay. Boxing Chief, if you're listening to this and you're watching the screen, okay, watch this. There's the Discord right there. Go on the left side, and you will see the icon there. Let me zoom in on that. Right here. See that? There's a speaker there, and there I am. Just click on the speaker there, and you will be joining the room where I'm at. And anybody on the Discord can join, fellas. Again, I must reiterate, if you want to join the show and you're on Discord, just click on the speaker icon that's right there on the left side of your Discord, and you should be able to enter it, all right? I'm going to be opening up the StreamYeard as well. Oh, there we go. Chief, are you there? All right. I think he's there, but he's in his car, so I heard a lot of noise in the background. All right, hold on a second.
Car wash. I'll be done in a second.
All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry. He's in the car wash. If we could play copyrighted music, man, I would play the car wash right now. The car wash. All right. Listen, there's a couple of things that we can talk about here. Charlo versus Castaño. Apparently, you guys heard the news. The Charlo is being forced apparently to go for his mandatory, which is some Russian dude whose name I will not try to pronounce here. But I've seen this Russian fight, and he seems to be a pretty tough cookie. But Charlo at this point is the type of guy that can take you out if you're sloppy. And this Russian looks a little sloppy. He's got power, he's young, he's strong, but he tends to slap a little with his shots. All right, you know what? I am going to try to say the guy's name. It's Bakram Murtazaliev. Murtazaliev, okay? Murtadel. Now, Murtazal, here you go. There's a name.
That sounded perfect.
Well, I know it sounded perfect. I tend to...
I was saying it sounded wonderful. I was giving you credit. I wasn't.
That's what I'm saying. I know it sounded wonderful. You don't need to hype me up, man. I can do that by myself. But hey, listen, Chief. Let's get it started, man. I don't know how many more people are going to be joining us. I don't know if you heard also at the beginning of the show, but it's an open lines Friday episode, which means anyone can join. So if anybody who's on the Discord wants to jump in here, they can certainly do so. You guys know how to do it too, right? I'm pretty sure most of you know how to do it. Just click. If you're on the Discord...
If I figured it out, anybody can.
There you go. Just go on the left-hand portion of your screen on the Discord, click on the speaker icon. You should be... If you can't see it, but you're on the Discord, you're going to be seeing the BDA icon there, and it's lighting up every time I speak. So you should be able to detect it. Jump on in. Everybody in the chat room, if you're part of the Discord, jump on in, man. I'm also going to be opening up a StreamYeard here. But all right, let's start with... I don't want to start with the subjects I had already. I want to save them for later a little bit.
Let me lead off with the fact that Charlo's not the only one who's going to have a mandatory. I've mentioned this on the show already. Castano's going to have to fight Tim Tszyu if that's the case. Castano's not going to sit by 6 months to a year and wait while this other fight gets pushed forward. And Tim Tszyu, first of all, Castano was not, to my knowledge, was not the mandatory contender when he fought Teixeira for the belt. Mm-hmm. And then while this fight was scheduled, Tim Tszyu became the number one contender back in December. So you have to defend against the mandatory once a year. He became mandatory December of last year. We're already in July. That fight's going to have to happen because Tim's not going to, he's 26 years old. He's not going to wait till he's 30 to get a title shot. If he waits till Undisputed goes through, he'll end up being close to 30 because you only have to defend against so many mandatories each year. So that I have a strange feeling that depending how these mandatories go through, we may not see a rollback of Charlo and Castano.
Man, all that stuff confuses me. The whole belt thing. I don't know what to say about that, man. Really, it's a shame that we wouldn't get if the immediate rematch doesn't happen. But let me ask you this, Chief, because I'm trying to type something here at the same time. There's been a couple of fights being announced now. Canelo versus Caleb Plant is close to being announced. Apparently, we've got Joshua Usyk, which has been announced. Wilder Fury 3 still to be determined, but apparently it will happen. Might get Lomachenko versus Lopez 3 if the whole Triller deal falls apart. Which fight out of those or others that I might not have mentioned are you most looking forward to? Which one tickles your fancy?
Because boxing's busy and that's the sport we love. I mean, if I had to rank one the most, it'd probably be Lomachenko. He's my most favorite of the ones that you mentioned. But I want to see Wilder and Fury put to an end, so let's get this over with. I want to see Usyk get a shot to see if he's really any good. If he's just as good a cruiserweight as Evander Holyfield was, and the only way to compare that is what he can do at heavyweight. I want to see Lopez. I've already mentioned Lopez. Yeah, I can't think of one of those fights I don't want to see, because 2020 we didn't have much of anything. So yeah, make them happen. Let's get it going.
Exactly, yeah. Listen, boxing is in a good place right now. It's despite the whole Kufi thing, the latter part of 2020 was good. 2021 has gotten off to a fantastic start. Chief, you've been a long-time boxing fan. Isn't it true that we tend to be, us boxing fans, we tend to be very fickle? If things don't go our way for about 2 months, we start complaining nonstop about how boxing it's not giving us the fights we want, blah blah blah. Are we a bunch of?
Well, then we also get to the point of, well, it's not like that when it was back in my day, and I say that a lot because I grew up in the '80s. So yeah, we do get fickle, we do get picky, and we tend to stick to things that we know are the best, which is usually our era.
Hey, by the way, fellas, I think Chief cut off there, but by the way, fellas, I don't know, Butcher, if you're listening, I cannot find, because I not reformatted, but I had to clean up the computer a little bit, the cache and all that, so I don't have the StreamYeard link anymore. I'd have to log in and all that. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, fellas, don't forget, it's an Open Lines Friday episode. Jump in on Discord. If you're part of Discord and you want to join us, jump on in. Otherwise, until I figure this whole StreamYeard thing out, StreamYeard broadcast. Yeah, what the fuck? It's not letting me in. Disgusting. Sorry about that, fellas. If I get a little bit of a break here in between, I'll be able to get to that. But yeah, like Chief was saying, back in my day, this was not exactly my day, but I mean, because I was already deep into boxing at that time, but I was rereading some of my old Ring magazines, all right? I had to do a little organization there. And I went back to a 2006 issue, and I realized, wait a minute, 2006, I started trying to remember what happened in 2006. Well, we had Winky Wright versus Jermaine Taylor. That was one big fight between the lineal middleweight champion against the consensus number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, which was Winky Wright. We had the lawyer returned, who was the biggest name in boxing at the time. Klitschko's big fights, forget about it. They weren't, nobody was really too excited to watch him, but he was fighting Calvin Brock, I believe, and
you like to criticize Klitschko as much as I like to criticize Winky Wright. It's kind of ironic that they were both in this 2006 era that you're going through.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at here, what I'm trying to illustrate is that boxing, there were a lot of good fights in 2006, but there was no major big event. 2021. There's no real major event either. I mean, Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders, a quarter of the boxing world, or the boxing fans, felt that fight was rigged and that there was no way Billy Joe Saunders could win. So that right there deflated that fight a little bit. What else do we got? I mean, Tyson Fury Wilder 3 is supposed to be a big event, but the ticket sales certainly don't reflect that. Joshua Usyk, it's kind of a letdown for a lot of people, considering that we'd been teased with Fury Joshua for about a couple of months. So, but that's still, Jay, I mean, Chief, like you said, we've got a whole bunch of good fights coming up, right?
Absolutely. Everything you named, I'm excited about, just because it's active boxing. It's stuff that the bettors can bet on. It's stuff that the fighters can debate about. It's stuff that enhances everyone's careers, and not a single one of them is like a small fight. All these guys are bona fide world championship level fighters. So, what do we always want to see? Championship fighters fight the best.
Exactly.
So let's make it happen.
Exactly. Hey, by the way, Chief, I wanted to mention something. Oh, by the way, because I have to repeat this so that people jump on. If you want to jump on the show, it's an Open Lines Friday episode. You can jump on in via the Discord. All right? Discord. You're part of the Discord. Are you sending... Oh, okay, you know what? Butcher just reminded me. If you don't know how to get on the Discord, I can put a link to this room right now. Hold on a second. How do I do this? Create channel. There we go. Oh, wait a minute. Create channel. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm trying to figure this out here. Yes, okay, I got it. Give me 2 seconds here. Yeah, because I forgot. Since we got the regulars here, it's kind of hard to create this room here. Hey, where's Gonzalo? Can't find Gonzalo on this. Real quick. Give me some time here. 2 seconds. 2, 1. All right. Anyway, yeah, but okay, Chief. While I send the invites here, I was rereading some of the comments for the Usyk video or stream we did the last Wednesday, I believe, when we're rewatching his fight against Joyce. There's a lot of people, a couple of people in the comment section of that saying, you guys are going to be disappointed when Usyk loses. First of all, did we pick Usyk unilaterally to beat Joshua?
No, as a matter of fact, if memory serves, when we first started that last show, we were all kind of saying that we know that Usyk is very talented, but we weren't really leaning one way or the other. And Don Precise came on and pointed out the fact that Joshua is a big, strong, talented guy, but he's not overly. He works behind the jab. He's predictable. He's kind of plodding sometimes, and he couldn't handle the hand speed of Fat Andy. So what? And those were, I'm paraphrasing him, but he definitely used the term Fat Andy more than once. So why could we not believe the fact that someone taller, longer limbed, faster, more skilled, in shape, and serious can't give him the same problems? And the more we thought about that, we started to go into break down the fight analysis on how Usyk could win. Not necessarily that he would win, but the tools that we know how Joshua was going to win. Impose the size, use his power, so on and so forth. We started analyzing what kind of skill and strategy Usyk would have to use to be the winner is what we started to do, to the point to where people may think that that's who we're picking.
Well, that's the thing about certain people. First of all, this message does not go out to any of our regular listeners because, again, the people that were mentioning this or saying, oh, you guys are going to be disappointed when Joshua knocks Usyk out, a lot of them had African names. In fact, one of them said Nigeria. So it's quite clear that a lot of these people are scammers, and they took some time off from scamming people in order to leave a comment here. Look, listen, these are not boxing fans. These are Anthony Joshua fans. And they can't discern between somebody picking a guy or actually just analyzing his weaknesses and strengths and a guy who's just saying, no, this guy's going to win because I say so. We never said that. In fact, I haven't even made an official pick. I don't think you have either. Have you, Chief?
My original pick off the first show was Joshua, saying that I would have to see what Usyk could do in order to believe it, because that's when a much smaller guy takes on a much bigger guy, it's hard for me to picture it. And then, of course, like I said, the more we started talking with Precise bringing up his points, I could kind of visualize how he could win, and that's what I started talking about. So my original pick was actually Joshua to start with. And then I've kind of started to analyze and lean towards Usyk giving him a good fight. But then we've come down to also the fact that it doesn't matter what Usyk does unless he knocks him out with 75 million, or was it 75 or 150 million apiece?
I don't know.
Guaranteed.
That's a good question.
So minimum of 75 million apiece guaranteed, plus everybody's sanctioning fees and everything else. They're not going to let that money just slip away by accident. He's going to have to pull a Buster Douglas to get this one. He's going to have to definitely make sure that the fight doesn't go the distance to win. Otherwise, Joshua's still going to win.
Exactly. Yes, and I think I've said that as well, man. It's Usyk has to go above and beyond in order to get a decision in London. I mean, think about it. In London, in the hometown of the guy who's the biggest name in boxing right now. I mean, it doesn't look good for Usyk, but hey, that's what boxing is all about. And he only has one shot at this because he's already 34. He's a guy whose style depends on speed and reflexes, and those things don't tend to get better with age. So he's got one shot at this. He needs to make it count. I see already new people joining the Discord, so you can jump on in. Fellas, don't forget, jump on the Discord. Open Discord today. So if you're part of the Discord, just jump on in. Bucho has been including the invite in the chat. So if you're on your phone, just slide left and you can join the voice channel, and you should be able to see BDA Boxing, my icon, and Chief's name there as well. So if you're having trouble, just go there. So Chief, yeah, you're saying about the Usyk fight, it's nothing set in stone, but it's a very difficult fight. If you had to split it into percentages, is this a 50-50 fight, 60-40, and in favor of whom?
You can't put it 50-50 in favor of a guy who has to go beyond a knockout to win, whose style has not shown he can do that at heavyweight. So I definitely have to say it's definitely heavy towards Joshua's size. What percentage? Let me break it more towards like this. I think that I would go at minimum of 60-40 because it's just going to be so heavy on Joshua's side. Now, on top of that, Joshua is an exceptional heavyweight for today's standard. He is athletic. He is big. He is strong. He can knock you out. He does have power in both hands. And we haven't seen Usyk fight anything like that at heavyweight as a pro. This fight we saw against, that was Joe Joyce, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was World Series of Boxing, and Joe Joyce wasn't 260 pounds yet. So, again, he may have the skill to offset a lot of this, but sometimes when you're hitting, like some of those shots he was hitting Joe Joyce with, like I said, he hasn't muscled up yet. If he hasn't muscled up yet, that shock-absorbing body mass isn't there yet. So some of those shots that like made his head go back and wore his back out, his upper back between his traps and shoulders, if he did that today, that may not happen. And if he does it to Joshua, because Joshua's size and his muscularity, that may not happen. So that is a possibility.
What's up, bro?
We got Johnny Walker. Wait a minute. This sounds like gypsy boxing. Is it gypsy boxing?
This is Gypsy Johnny Cash.
What the fuck? Why did you change your name, Kevin? I thought you were Kevin from Chicago on the Discord.
No, this is a brand new Discord because I thought you were doing a StreamYard, so I was confused.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have the StreamYard, man. I don't have the info. I don't have the login information. So I'm locked out of Discord for the moment. So I mean StreamYard. So it's all Discord here, fellas. But good to have you on, Kevin. Listen, we're talking about the Usyk versus Joshua, the fight that's going to be coming up, and we're talking about the Joyce fight, the Usyk Joyce fight that took place in that half amateur, half pro fight that they had about 6-7 years ago. What do you think about this Usyk versus Joshua fight?
Robbery written all over it.
Oh.
You know Joshua's going to sit behind his jab. He's not going to do anything spectacular. He's just going to sit there and do the bare minimum. And they'll rob Usyk. They'll rob him. Plain as day. Usyk's got to go out there and get a stoppage. Couple knockdowns won't do it. He's got to knock him out. Otherwise, they'll rob him.
Yo, what's up, BDA? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Hello?
Yeah, okay, we got new people coming in. We got... Hey, by the way, fellas, don't forget, mute your mic if you're not going to be speaking, please. Otherwise, we hear background noises. So, okay, we got one more week, mate. How are you, man?
Yeah, this is David.
Oh, David. Okay, I got you. Okay, David.
Yo, man, what's up, man? Yo, happy Friday, everybody. You know, I'm glad to be on the StreamYard, man. It's nice.
It's nice. We're going to be trying to make this a weekly thing, because we used to do it for about 3-5 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden we stopped, but we're trying to get back at it, man. Open lines, everybody can join. So good to have you there, David. Also, we got Stop the Machine. Stop the Machine, how are you, man? Stop the Machine? Alright, I guess he'll be back. Yes, and please don't forget to not have any background noise. Try to go someplace quiet, and don't turn your speakers on or anything, because then we hear feedback. But Kevin, you said something about the robbery aspect of saying there's no way Usyk can win a decision. I'm already seeing people in comment sections across the internet, YouTube and all that, and they're saying, oh, that's just a built-in excuse. But come on, I mean, there's two names out there that are always going to get the benefit of the doubt with the judges, and that's Canelo and AJ. Is that so crazy to say? Is that such a crazy statement?
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't like to hear the truth. When he comes and you slap him in the face with it, they try to say, it's crazy. You're just excuses. This is common knowledge when it comes to boxing, all the A-side stuff. What are they going to do? They're going to rob the poor Eastern European dude. He don't bring no money to the table. That's just facts. AJ fills up stadiums, 80,000 strong. They're going to rob that fool. This is called Fuck Off Friday. That's the new name of the segment. Every Friday it's called Fuck Off Friday.
All right, that's a little too vulgar for our audience. We do have some of my parishioners are listening as well, so we'll try to keep. We'll find something a little more respectful. We'll meet halfway. How about that?
Frick Off Friday.
All right, yeah, but that's too lame.
Did you guys see the odds for this fight? It's crazy, man. I was very surprised because the odds for this fight, Anthony Joshua was minus 245, and Charlo for the Charlo versus what's his name? I already forgot. Who do you fight
Castaño
last week?
Brian
Charlo
Castano.
Castano, it was Charlo was minus 275. So they're saying this fight, the Usyk fight, is going to be closer than the Charlo fight. How crazy is that?
I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, it is because I'm surprised in the sense that if you ask the general public, hey, who would you favor, Joshua or Usyk, and they don't know much about, Usyk and all that, they'll say, oh yeah, well, Joshua, he's bigger, look at his muscles, it's the name they know. But boxing fans know Usyk is very dangerous, and I know that the Joyce fight was a while back, but it wasn't 15 years ago in a different weight class. It was heavyweights, both adults, Usyk against a tall guy who can box and jab, and he took him to school. So I think most boxing fans look at that, they go, yep, I think it's a very, very close fight. What does everyone else think? Do you guys agree with the odds, disagree with the odds? Anybody?
If it's going to be as close as the odd makers make it out to be, then we're going to get a banger of a show. And what Kevin said about the robbery, if it's gonna, it really is gonna be that close, then it's gonna go Joshua's way, in my opinion. But that's not to say we can't just be like, oh, it's a robbery, therefore this fight is diminished. You can't just discredit the fight for being not worth watching, because it's still a great fight, an exciting fight, regardless.
Absolutely. It's gonna be an intriguing fight, that's for sure. It's because of the speed and do you guys? Here's my question to you: do you think Joshua, even if he goes at a moderate pace, or Usyk with the feints and the movement and all that, do you think Usyk can tire him out, and do you think Joshua does get tired in that fight?
Pushes the pace, he could definitely tire him out, wear him out. He's got to get in there. He can't be afraid to get inside and make it ugly. He's got to avoid the power. That's the thing. That's the same thing with Lomachenko. It's a similar fight with him versus Lopez. He's got to get inside, make him work. Can't be afraid of the power. And then once you do that, he's gonna gas out. No problem.
All right. That's interesting. Yeah, man. I mean, because that's the way I envision this fight is Usyk being very hesitant of Joshua's power and counters in the beginning. Then he'll turn it on when Joshua starts getting tired. But by then it's gonna be a little bit too late. You know what I mean? And that's gonna be the story of the fight afterwards. People are gonna say, well, if he would have started sooner, blah blah blah. That's the way I look at it. They're gonna come up with that excuse. He didn't do enough early. But then again, I also think Joshua is not going to do enough early either. But for him, like George Foreman used to say, not much is going to be a lot. Not much is going to be a lot. One jab here, one jab there, he's going to get the round. I can tell you that right now. Anyway, listen, fellas, we're going to get into the questions of the day, because now we got about 4 or 5 people. And by the way, people listening on Discord, don't forget, if you want to join us, you can do so by clicking on the link here that I just posted in the chat. And that way, if you're part of the BDA Discord, you can join us, jump on the air, and give us your point of view on the subjects that we're going to be talking about here. It is going to be a 15-minute limit, because I don't want to spend too much time on it. So by the end of this, you're going to hear the BDA alarm, and it's going to mean we're going to move on to another subject. You're also going to see a vulgar message appear on screen. But it was the BDA Board of Directors that decided that, so take it up with them. All right? So let's get started. The big news this week is that supposedly Sean Porter has become Terence Crawford's mandatory. All right? By the way, the clock is ticking now, so we got 50 minutes. So my question is, how interested would you be in a Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter fight? And can Sean Porter pull off the upset?
This is a great fight at 147. A fight that people have been calling for the longest time, because of the built-in excuse of the two of them being on opposite sides of the street. It couldn't happen for years, and they also said the two of them were friends, didn't want to fight each other. But it looks like the wind is blowing the other direction now. They both changed their tunes, and they are. Well, Crawford doesn't really have a choice, right? Like, who are you gonna fight? You know what I mean? He's got back against the wall. Who are you gonna fight? And plus, if you're not gonna be with Top Rank anymore, You should be able to facilitate this across the street fight.
That's an excellent point. Do you buy the whole? Do you get into the whole? Well, who's avoiding who? Is it Porter against Crawford? Is it Crawford avoiding Spence? Vice versa? Like, do you get into all that, or is that something that doesn't interest you?
They all don't want to fight each other because none of them want to lose to one another. I think there's like a feeling of doubt. You know, a lot to lose, not enough to gain. So they were. If there is any avoiding, any ducking. Well, I'm not gonna blame it on one guy. I blame it on every single one of them. It's mutual.
Yeah, you're trying to be fair. That's understandable. Kevin or Chief, what do you guys think about this Porter versus Crawford fight? How interested would you be in that fight if it happens?
Go ahead.
Chief just jumped out.
Fuck you, Chief.
Oh.
Now, I'll say this. Terrence Crawford, I saw him. He ragged on Charlo. What'd he say recently? That's why you're not in the pound for pound. Oh man, they didn't like that. A lot of people riled up over that. Well, look at your resume. Oh, shut up. Terrence Crawford's gonna wipe the floor with this dude. He's gonna try to come lunging in with his sloppy hooks, and he's gonna get knocked clean out.
I've said it before. I've said it before, and what you've been saying, I've said it before as well. I completely agree with you. I think Terrence Crawford has been regressing, but this style, Sean Porter, tailor-made for him. Sean Porter's a more refined version of Jeff Horn, but nevertheless, he's the same dimension in terms of stylistic dimension. He's going to be jumping in, and Crawford's going to sharpshoot him. Will there be any difficult points in that fight? Of course, it's Sean Porter. He's very well conditioned, very tough, and skilled as well when it comes to coming forward. But he tends to overjump. And like Kevin said, if you overjump against Terrence Crawford, I don't care who you are, he's got power.
He's going to have his moments for sure. Who do you think is stronger, Sean Porter or Mean Machine?
Mean Machine. Punching power wise, everybody in the welterweight division has got more punching power than Sean Porter. His punch stats consistently show that he's under 50%. He hasn't knocked anybody he went 20 rounds with a lightweight with a shaky chin and Julio Diaz, who was past his prime. And that was before. That was when he was up and coming. He hasn't gotten any better with punching power.
I'll tell you this though, he's got a hell of a lot better gas tank than that musclehead. The juiced up musclehead gasses out after 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as Terrence Crawford started putting pressure on Kavaliauskas and backing him up, it took him out of his comfort zone, and the guy tired out within 3-4 rounds. I mean, but it just goes to show you with Terrence Crawford.
Most fighters do when you actually push them off their game plan and don't have a plan B. He's a pressure fighter. That's what he does. He comes forward. He doesn't, and when you make him have to start moving backwards, his muscles are moving differently. His mind's working different. Everything's working different. It wears you out. It wears you out mentally.
It also doesn't help the fact that you're a little juice head muscle shark with that body frame. You're bound to gas out quick. You're not built for the long haul. Someone like Sean Porter, that's his whole style. His style has got amazing gas tank. He's the Energizer buddy, Energizer bunny.
That's another good point.
He's the Energizer bunny against fighters that actually can let him come forward. Spence should have made him go back on his heels and couldn't. I believe that Crawford can make him go on his heels. And I'm one of the few, because everyone thinks that Sean Porter's the same way no matter who he fights. But then we forget the fact that he looked like he was almost a shot fighter against Ugas, his very previous fight before Errol Spence. And people are starting to wonder whether he was past his prime, having trouble making weight, or on the downslide. Then he fights Errol Spence, and everyone thinks, oh, no, we were wrong. Okay. And he hasn't really done anything. He has had a fight since then. Not against an impressive opponent. Not an impressive performance. And that was almost a year ago.
Well, listen.
When I saw the way Sean Porter fought Spence, it made me curious to see how Crawford, who is not as physically strong as Errol Spence, how he's going to handle the physicality of a Sean Porter. Just, being up close.
What are you basing that off of, not as physically strong?
Well, Errol Spence, right? You see how Sean Porter, right? I get what you're saying about the punching power, right? He doesn't have a lot of punching power.
No, I'm also
but
worried
he's
about the physical strength you're implying.
He's physically strong. Sean Porter is physically strong, and that's different from sheer punching power. If you look at someone like Manny Pacquiao, great punching power, but we don't know if he's physically strong. And when I look at Crawford, I also see somebody who has immense punching power for sure, very accurate. Maybe that's also where the power comes from, the leverage and everything. But I don't think Crawford is physically strong because we saw he was kind of getting pushed around by this mean machine dude, and his body type and everything, I don't think he's as physically as strong as Sean Porter.
Well, if I may, Chief, you want to reply to that, or?
I mean, you are bringing too many different factors into sticking to a point. You said compared to Errol Spence, and then you went to Sean Porter. So I don't know where you're going with this until you re-explain yourself. We're comparing from what you started with, Crawford and Spence physical strength, and you ended up with Sean Porter. So none of that really equated to an actual point.
Chief is demanding an
None of it
explanation.
matters, man. What are you talking about strength? They're talking about boxing here. They're not bodybuilders.
Nah,
Kevin, I don't listen to you anyway because you usually go off topic. So I'm referring to.
Oh, wait a minute. What?
No. My point is this: Crawford, he's got accuracy.
I'm talking about
Crawford has some
holding and
serious
punching
accuracy.
Hold on, one at a time. Go ahead, David.
When I mention physical strength, I'm talking about the ability to hold, wrestle, and punch on the inside, as Sean Porter was doing to Errol Spence all night long.
Mm-hmm.
And how is Crawford gonna handle being held onto and being wrestled and headbutted all night by somebody who I think is physically stronger than he is?
So again, which one are you referring to? Because are you referring to Spence or Porter? Because you started with the comparison. You started the comparison with Crawford and Spence on strength, and you ended up with Sean Porter. And so I'm trying to say, where did you get this idea from that Spence, because that's who you said, those were your words, is physically stronger than Crawford, and then you ended up basing it off of Porter. So
I think Spence is physically stronger than Crawford based upon body type and based upon the way Errol Spence, like his come forward, just the way he stands his ground. The way Spence is able to stand his ground versus other strong opponents versus Crawford, his style is more like, I'm gonna counter, I'm gonna catch you coming in and hit you cleanly. But it's not a physical strength, it's coming from punching power.
So where I'm going with this is you're basing this off of body type. They're 1 inch apart. Crawford actually has a longer reach. Crawford's proven the fact he's a competent in-fighter and fights in-fight with anybody. He'll make himself room by taking half a step back and over. That's just ring IQ. That's not being physically strong.
What about durability? Well, I'll say it. It's durability, not physical strength, durability. I think Spence is able to take more punishment. He's able to take a shot better than Crawford. So
let me rebuttal. Let me jump in.
I'm a big Crawford fan. I'm not trying to shit on Crawford. I like Crawford.
I'm putting it on your comparison to fighters, and I'm a Crawford fan too. I'm very pro Crawford, obviously, but people keep putting all this stock in Spence on he's this, and he really hasn't shown it. I mean, he's shown he's tough. Don't get me wrong, but he didn't put this physical strength that we're talking about. He fought a featherweight and couldn't put his physical strength on him. Or didn't, whichever one you want, whether he didn't or couldn't, you choose your argument on that. But then
you know what? Crawford is stronger than Errol Spence. All right, you happy?
No, I'm not happy. Let me tell you this. Let me say something. Crawford is a sniper. Spence just likes to get inside and start digging to the body. It's a totally different skill set, totally different way of fighting. This is the thing with Crawford is he can snipe you. He can get on the inside and make it ugly, but he's just an accurate puncher, counter puncher. Did you see what he did to Diaz? Boom! Right on the jaw. Clean. You never seen someone like Porter or Spence land a shot like that. They're not
agree.
capable of it.
He is the better puncher, more accurate puncher, the cleaner puncher, the more skilled puncher. But I'm not going to say nothing, but you're right. When it comes to being the better puncher, the clean puncher, yes, of course, that's all Crawford. But styles make fight.
No, you're right.
If I may interject and speak about this, but before I do that, shout out to Michael Poe for his contribution with the super chat, and he says, a small gift, love the show, I'm being serious, it gives me life. Oh, well, shout out to you, Michael. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Really appreciate your contribution, and yes, indeed, boxing is the sustenance that gives us life. So the question we're in right now is, how interested would you be in a Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter fight? And we got into the whole power aspect of, will Sean Porter ragdoll Terence Crawford?
Okay. So we got to stop it.
No. We go where the conversation takes us. But I just want to say this in regards to the power. Terence Crawford backed Kavaliauskas up. So let's assume that Terence Crawford is not as physically strong as Kavaliauskas. Let's say Kavaliauskas can bench more and squat more, blah, blah, blah. But this is boxing. There's also a technique applied to how I've seen strong guys that can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag and can't fight on the inside. But they're extremely strong, but it's the mechanics of the inside fighting. So let's also take into consideration that there's an ability to fight on the inside. Terence Crawford, I will say this, I've seen him fight on the inside a little bit more in sparring sessions that are on YouTube. I haven't really seen him fight on the inside that much because he's got very long arms. He's got orangutan arms. But that being said, one of the reasons why we haven't seen him fight on the inside is because he doesn't need to. Watch the Beltran fight. That was a guy that was putting a lot of pressure on him. And what did Crawford do? He kept him turning, and he was able to tangle him up with those octopus tentacles that he's got that he calls arms. So against Sean Porter, what I'm expecting is I think he's going to catch him with those big shots of his, and if Sean Porter makes it past them, he's just going to clinch him. It's not going to be pretty. In fact, it's illegal, but that's what he's going to be doing. He's not going to be ragdolled in the inside. And also, don't forget, Terence Crawford himself has said he walks around 170 pounds or something to that nature. So that's my take on the whole power thing. I don't
forget though, Crawford. The people who like to get on the inside, they crowd their punches. Crawford's too technical, too skilled to go in there and crowd his punches when he can stay on the outside, get full leverage, and not hurt these dudes. Only people who don't got the technique, they could get inside and make it a sloppy, ugly fight. Someone like Porter, Spence, they don't have the technique and skill to have full range and technique on their punches. That's why they're just big muscle weight bullies. Crawford isn't like that. He's clean, technical boxer.
There you go. That's I think that's why. And again, listen, David could be right. Maybe Sean Porter, even if Crawford manages to catch him on the inside, maybe Sean Porter does get the best of Crawford on the inside. Maybe he manages to free one arm or something and just mauls him, and it could happen. But if that's his only shot, the judges aren't going to be giving him too much credit for that. By the way, we got Jimmy. Go ahead, Chief.
Go ahead.
Hello. What's going on, brother?
What's going on,
Jimmy?
Well, go ahead, Chief. Well, Chief, go ahead to conclude what you were going to say because we got a minute left on this subject. So go ahead. Wrap it up for us.
So I'll try and say it fast. So when it comes onto the inside and Porter taking it in, whether he frees a hand and holds and hits or what have you, I think I know for fact Crawford's body punching is underrated, and he'll just switch to turning and hitting the body and breaking him down from the inside. He's got a good uppercut. I just think he's too much of a higher IQ for win on just physical strength.
I gotcha. All right. Now, the question was, how interested would you be in a Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter fight? So what I'm going to do is we're going to go into overtime. I'm going to stop the clock, and I'm going to add another 5 minutes to it. And because I want to just discuss briefly how interested would you guys be on it. So since Jimmy just jumped on, Jimmy, you know how this works. This is the question of the day, which means we got a timer on. And once this subject's concluded, we move on to another one. So I don't know if you heard the news. Porter versus Crawford has been mandated by the WBO.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't mean that the fight's going to happen. But if it does,
nope.
It might be pay-per-view, right? Would you be interested? First of all, would you even be willing to pay for that fight?
Unfortunately, yes, I would, only because I'd be interested in live time what he does with Porter. I'd be pissed that it was pay-per-view. It belongs on ESPN. I don't see, but if it's tricky. One thing that doesn't bode well for this fight to happen, I don't like the fact that Porter, right when he first found out about it, he tweeted out, something positive about it, like, "Oh, great, you don't need blah blah blah," and then he took it down. So he deleted the tweet. He hasn't said anything about it since, I guess. Or I don't know if he has recently in the last, today, anything about. Listen, the thing is Heyman gonna fucking? Is Heyman gonna bid on this? Remember, he was offered $2 million already to fight Crawford on ESPN, and he laughed and balked at it. Okay, now here's your opportunity, bro. What does Al Heyman think you're worth? Let him bid on it then. Let him go out of pocket. Because if it goes on the pay-per-view, I would imagine that means that Heyman won the bid. Is he going to outbid Bob for this fight? I don't know. Is he going to sink the money into it? Because does he think he's going to... It's all about will he capture the belt or not. I don't think Porter can beat Crawford. I don't think any of those welterweights, they're, considered top welterweights over there can beat, including Spence. That's just my opinion. But anyways, but I would... make a long story short, yes, I would be interested in it after all the talk. I'm curious to see if this even goes through. But that's my thing on that. You can go to the next person.
So everybody else, would you be rubbing your hands in a greedy manner on fight week and, ooh, this fight's coming, what's going to happen? I'm intrigued. Or would you be like, it ain't exactly Crawford Spence or Spence Pacquiao?
Sorry, substitute.
I'm frustrated with PBC that he has to jump through these hoops to get to Spence. When he moved up and he beat Jeff Horn, he was arguably, maybe not fully ranked everywhere, the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world and a three-weight division champion. And a 50-50 split was ridiculous, supposedly, so they went to 60-40 and then went to everything else. And then they started saying, well, now you have to fight the other guys in PBC, all of the leftovers that haven't done anything since 2015. And the number one guy that they're pushing is Porter. So Porter says, okay, I've been given permission to fight, but then like Jimmy said, he turned down offers. He's holding this out to go to purse bid, thinking that he can get more out of it. And to be honest with you, if he's right, if Al doesn't win the purse bid, he might make at most $2 million out of the whole thing, if not under, because Bob's not going to break the bank on this for pay-per-view, knowing the fact that it's not going to break 350,000 buys. It's not. It's just these guys don't bring that to the table without somebody on the other side. Spence himself doesn't either. I mean, Jimmy pointed out his numbers have been going down about 50,000 each fight with each opponent he's been getting. Starting with Garcia, then down to Porter, then down to Danny. His numbers have been going down. So there's not a star at the welterweight division outside of Manny Pacquiao. And the PBC guys have been holding out for more money, thinking they're going to get it against Porter against Crawford if it goes pay-per-view. And Porter is going to hold out until it goes pay-per-view, and then we'll see what happens. I think he might get disappointed.
It's an excellent breakdown of that. It's a shame that none of these welterweights outside of Pacquiao have that star quality. And Errol Spence is an entertaining fighter. So is Terence Crawford. Keith Thurman as well, for the most part. But they don't have that pizzazz or that zizzle.
They're boring people. They're boring people.
4 stars in the sport of boxing.
They're what?
There's like 4 stars. Canelo, AJ, and that's about it.
Wait, Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a star. Come on.
And Thurman has fought once. I mean, Thurman has he's fought 4 times in the last 5 years. I mean, so he's just. I mean, is he even still a professional fighter at this point?
No, but he's the one that has the personality. He's the one that's got the personality that could have been a pay-per-view star out of all the PBC guys if he would have stayed busy. Yeah, but I love Crawford.
You love Crawford?
No, I liked him when he was with. Golden Boy back in the day. It wasn't until he even poisoned their mind with the thought that they were all going to be the next. They all bought into the Mayweather plan, like they were going to be the next $100 million superstar. And they realized that's not the case.
Let's talk about superstars. How many legit stars are there in boxing? Big pay-per-view draws. Because to me, there's really not many at all. There's you can count on one hand. Manny Pacquiao. Joshua. Does he even sell a bunch of pay-per-views?
Joshua.
Well, what's your definition of star? Is it? Well, to me, that's crossover. That means people who, transcend the sport of boxing and are known amongst the public. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, all right, back in the day, Mike Tyson, they talked about him on fucking Saturday Night Live. I mean, he was on daytime talk shows. It transcended the sport. There's nobody besides Canelo in certain regions. But then again, we're talking United States. I'm sure Kazakhstan, fucking Triple G's, you know, they're Michael Jordan right now. But in the States, no, I don't think there is a fucking true star.
Well, we're just talking about pay-per-view buys. That's what we were quantifying. We were qualifying as a star who is selling pay-per-view buys, and there's really not many pay-per-view sellers right now across the
board.
board.
The only thing that sucks now, though, is pay-per-view are all on PBC side, and the fact that they don't release the numbers. Nobody really knows what they're doing. They're only, you know, they put a gag order on the provider and then turned around and had one of their ex-employees tweet out whatever number they tell them to. So it's kind of you know what I mean? I'm curious, too, because now Bob's going to see what Porter did against, if he really negotiates it. Depends if they try to negotiate. I know he gets 60-40, I guess that's how the spurt. So maybe they won't have to. But if they open up the books, they're going to have to show exactly what Porter did against Spence in those pay-per-view numbers.
That's absolutely
What about ESPN? Don't they do pay-per-view over there? I know for ESPN Plus, for UFC, that's how they do it. You can buy pay-per-view through ESPN Plus or something along those lines. There's no pay-per-view over there.
I'm sure they have a carrier, or they could at least use someone's service. They're big enough. I don't know if they would. It's kind of hard to charge people a monthly, you know, stipend, you know, charge them a fee. You know, you're doing that because you're, you know, saying you're doing away with pay-per-view, and then every time there's talk of a big fight, it's like, what pay-per-view is going to go on? Again, that's why, not the sideline, but I think the fucking PBC is a cancer. They're the only ones still pushing that outdated. With today piracy, I mean, they're probably losing 40, maybe 50% of the views to fucking piracy. So.
And by the way, yeah, somebody in the chat said, by the way, before we continue, don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button. If you want to join this Open Lines Friday, just click on the link there that I just reposted in the chat. The phone lines are open too if you want to call in via the phone. We got Recognize too dropping by. Recognize, you there?
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Recognize.
How you doing, boys?
Happy Friday.
I hope that's recognized. Otherwise, it doesn't sound like it. But
it's me. It's recognized from New York. All right.
All right.
Recognized from New York.
New York. New York. And
I'm feeling a little arrogant. I'm feeling arrogant today.
Oh yeah, let's hear it, baby. Woohoo!
And by the way, I was gonna say, don't forget to hit the like button. And yeah, somebody said in the chat room, somebody said, well, if the Crawford-Porter fight happens, it's pay-per-view, 350 pay-per-views times 50, that's 17 mil. That's true, but don't forget, they have to split that revenue. They have to split that revenue with the cable company, so it's not exactly a...
And is that a 50-50 split, right? Isn't that the way it goes with the cable, with the cable revenue?
The provider keeps 50% right off the top. So then it would be what? It would be 8.5, and that doesn't even cover the fucking, you know, what they're probably getting paid. So no, I'd be surprised if we made a lot of money. Recognize. What say you?
So you got, I don't think it makes, you know, look, with these big paydays, this is going to be the situation, and then these guys are not like these big stars where, you know, God, like anybody could have a successful pay-per-view event. It felt like, what I mean by that is where everybody got paid, right? The fighter got his money, what he agreed to, and then the promoters and whoever else was involved got their money. As in compared to today, where you got guys like Terrence Crawford, who's demanding superstar money, right? And Sean Porter as well. They're not superstars. They're not superstars in the sense that, you know, you can go anywhere and say Terrence Crawford, and it's like you're mentioning Roy Jones. It's just not. I mean, I know people like Terrence Crawford, but it's not the same thing. And likewise for Sean Porter.
Well, listen.
Roy Jones really wasn't the seller either, if you remember. He was mostly HQ.
Yeah, but if you said Roy Jones, everybody in the neighborhood wanted to be Roy Jones. So it was like they knew who that guy was. Nobody knows
who's you people.
Yeah, but nobody knew what I'm saying, Jay. Nobody knows Terrence Crawford. They don't know him. They don't know who he is. I say Bud Crawford. They're like, who's that? Yeah, you
More
don't know him.
people
He's
know
welterweight.
Tank Davis than they do Crawford.
I would agree with that. I would even
Nah.
agree with. Yes, I think
Come
I've
on,
gotten more.
maybe in the African American community.
You know what it is?
No. It's factual because even Leonard Ellaby's kids' kindergarten teachers know who Tank Davis is. Just ask Leonard Ellaby himself.
Right.
Well, no, it's the you know what it is? It's the name Tank. When you put Tank Davis, it has more of a
Absolutely.
Tank sells more than Bud.
Bud always sells more everywhere, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All
I
right.
got that.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
After I finished saying it, I knew where you're going with that.
Don't forget to hit the like button, fellas, and let's move on to the next subject here. Let me just restart the clock here. All right, next subject. This and again, they're talking about rumoring. The rumor is Canelo versus Caleb Plant. So, what can Caleb Plant accomplish against Canelo Alvarez?
Not much.
Not much. Just collect a paycheck. The paycheck. Yeah.
Couple of shoulder rolls,
Hey, there's
maybe.
nothing. Listen, when you're fighting Canelo, that should be good enough. It's like, all right, the paycheck. Let me go home.
Hey, by the way, we got Dolores Dumas. She's in the chat, and she's gonna be. I suspect she's gonna be leaving about 7 or 10 psychotic messages, long ranting, schizophrenic messages in the chat and in the comment section after this is done. So, Dolores, just please, if you're gonna rant, just keep it to a minimum, please. I got no time or no disposition right now to be reading your schizophrenic mess. So please try to keep it.
And if your name is Dolores, you better be a chick, right?
Yeah, if it's a guy named Dolores, then we're all in trouble.
I
man.
mean, have you checked out the new wave of like Spanish people with these girl names and like, yo, what's up with these women? Well, why were they naming them after chicks?
Hold on a second. Let's stick
The
to the
world
subject.
is a messed up place, recognize. It's messed up.
It's very easy to find a guy named Lourdes today.
Oh, geez, Luis.
It's a lot of suspect walking around the city, man. A bunch of weirdos. A bunch of weirdos, man.
A guy. Imagine a guy named Monica. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Listen. So what? All right. So you guys are saying that Caleb Plant can't accomplish much against Canelo Alvarez. So this is another fight that's being rumored to be on pay-per-view. Now, Canelo is one of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star in boxing, but I can't imagine this doing all that well.
Any cross-promotional fights won't happen unless it's a pay-per-view. I mean, I don't. How can you get both of them to agree to the terms if they don't think they're gonna make any money out of it? You know.
Well, I mean, it could go to DAZN. Remember, because Canelo's already stated he does not want to do pay-per-views for the number one reason. Well, two reasons. A, he wants fans to get it for free, so if he does go to pay-per-view, that's hypocritical as fuck. And then B, also because he wants guaranteed money. He wants, like, right now, he knows going in, I'm making $30 million. Bang. End of story. I don't have to worry about fucking piracy. You know, all this other shit, all these people stealing from him, everything else. So this is the reason why everybody wants to get away from pay-per-view. It's because of the money they end up losing through piracy. That's a very important thing. So it could stay on DAZN. DAZN cleaned up. The numbers on the last fight with Canelo were on DAZN. Billy Joe Saunders was crazy. Did you guys see the numbers they did? 500,000 new subscriptions. I mean, they cleaned up. They really did.
Hey, does DAZN release information about viewership and all that, or?
Well, what they did was they released how many new subscriptions they got and how many people paid. Because if you're not a subscriber, you could have paid, I guess, a one-time fee to watch the fight. And they said they cleaned up. They did very well.
I think they did something like 2 to 3 million views for that fight. Don't quote me on that, but I could have swore DAZN said they did that much.
Right. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Recognize.
Well, in any event,
think about it, 2 to 3, and I'm sorry, real quick, 2 to 3 million, and then you get 500,000 subscribers from that. That's a success.
Yeah, that sounds about right, man. By the way, Kevin, we can hear you listening to gospel radio in the background. I don't know what you're.
Spirit Lake. What the fuck are you? Is that? Are you watching that fucking thing with the alligator?
No, man, I'm watching Ice Road Truckers.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Ice Road Truckers.
Just mute that. Just mute that if you're not gonna be on talking, because then we can hear it in the background. And by the way, Elias Tufexis in the chat says Canelo's fangirls are kind of weird. They've got to be middle-aged housewives who just sit at the computer all day. Well, that was the point that Cameron had made. By the way, hit the like. That was the point that Cameron had made a while back, where he said that Mexican women, and I'm Mexican by the way, and I can't believe I missed this point, which is true. Mexican women tend to go for the baby-faced type of guy, even if it's a boxer. Even if they hate boxing, whatever, but if there's a baby-faced, cute guy as a boxer, successful boxer, these women will eat it up. As they do that with Ryan Garcia and Canelo to a certain extent. If it wasn't for the extra supplements he's on, he would be more of a welterweight, super middleweight type.
BDA.
Yeah.
So is that the key to a Latin woman's heart? That's what all you have to do is to be a baby-faced pussy.
It's the first. It's the first step. It's the first. It helps. Let's just put it that way. Me, I'm cursed because I'm a manly guy, so I have to come back with other attributes. I'm too much of an alpha male, too much of a hairy chest type of guy. But you know what? I make up for it in other ways. But yes, from a Mexican standpoint, in telenovelas, for example, they've got the brawny guy, but then also that the twink type of fella tends to do very well amongst Mexican women, especially fat Mexican women. Which,
we don't talk about your humility enough, I think, is the problem.
No, I don't. No, we don't. That's because I'm so humble. I try not to talk about myself a lot. All right, so we're getting back. Yeah, so with the whole Canelo thing, so can the pay-per-view buys be good? Probably. The other thing I wanted to mention with you fellas is we always talked about, well, can a guy that moves give Canelo trouble? Billy Joe Saunders couldn't do it because at this point Canelo has refined his style to where he's so strong, his defense so good, he can just fight economically. One punch here, one punch there, and he just breaks guys down. With that being said, does Caleb Plant even have a shot at this, or is he just going to get broken down?
Look, people will say that movement gives him problems, are the ones that believe that, Mayweather fought a top-of-the-line, in shape, ready to go, young, virile Canelo, and what we had was a weight-drained 23-year-old who had very few fights at the world championship level at that time, even though he had 40 wins. And since he's actually seasoned himself, he's become a very good fighter, even though I don't like him. His head movement is better than most Mexican fighters I've ever seen. His punching combination is definitely better than most fighters I've ever seen. He knows where he's at. He knows when to push the brakes and when to push the action. His ring prowess is up there. And, he's just become an exceptional fighter since the Mayweather situation. So I haven't seen a fighter really give him trouble since he's been fighting at a weight class where he's got sturdy legs, which 154 was not that division.
He knows when to cycle off and cycle on.
Outside Gennady, I don't think the dude's lost a round in fucking, 4 fights? That's pound for pound when you don't lose rounds ever, like Steve brought up talking about Jamal Charlo, how he loses probably 60% of his, wins about 60, maybe 70% of rounds. Mm-hmm. Top 5 or even top 10 fighters don't lose that many rounds.
No, you're right. When Chavez was on top, I don't remember him losing he was fighting Marty Jakubowski in a tune-up fight before his pay-per-view, I think, with Greg Haugen. Don't quote me if that was the one, the big fight that's going to happen. But he was just letting Jakubowski kind of get away with boxing around the ring, and they were saying, I can't remember the last time Chavez lost a round. And then Bobby Chess said something about, well, he's coming close to losing this one, and then he threw a 4-punch combination, staggered him into the ropes, said, well, never mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. The pound for pound fellas, they tend not to lose that many rounds. But it's easy to win rounds if you're fighting nobodies. But look at the Canelo's opponents. Daniel Jacobs, Kovalev, Triple G before that in the rematch. Joe, what's his name? Smith. And then now in the last one, Billy Joe Saunders, people underrated Billy Joe Saunders.
Who's retiring?
Oh, is he retiring? Well, there you go. But he's a very slippery dude, Billy Joe Saunders. And the fact that Canelo did as well as he did against him, I think he deserves credit. But a lot of people were already underrating and cutting Billy Joe Saunders short and say, well, he sucks, he can't. But he's not an easy fight for anybody, I don't think.
No, he makes, no matter who you are, he's going to make you look awkward. He's going to make, because he's slippery enough. You're going to have to be really good, and Canelo is really good. Like Chief alluded to, his punching combination, and from the waist up movement, because he's the best in boxing right now.
There you go.
Caleb Plant is going to shock the world. I'm telling you guys right now, they'll count him out. He's going to stick and move, slick and dick. It's gonna be a big fight. I'm telling you guys right now. Don't count him out.
Slick and dick. I'm gonna steal that one.
Slick and dick, boy.
He's gonna slick and dick.
Kevin, I agree with what you're saying, but the only problem is I think once Caleb Plant gets hit, everything changes. Like I think Caleb Plant, he is capable. Stick and dig. He's got it. He's good. But then when he gets hit, based upon the way Billy Joe Saunders got destroyed, I see the same thing happening to him. He's going to do one of the shoulder rolls.
Especially when he's on that, when he's on his game, when he's allowed to use his nice gloves and shit, he's going to break your face.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
Canelo's been fighting the best of the world. Yeah, sorry, recognize, finish, sorry.
I was saying if, Caleb Plant better make sure that whatever gloves he's wearing, you're wearing too. That's all I'm saying. Just say, hey, it's good for this faggot. Then, it's good for this dude. Then it's good for me too. That's it.
I would put an egg weight in his glove. That'll work.
Well, to quote recognize,
it's hard to count. You can't count out. It's hard to go against Canelo. Period. I'm always going against him. Kovale's gonna shock the world. Billy Joe, and I don't say Caleb Plant, but Canelo always seems to get it done.
Don't put your money on Plant, dude. He's gonna fucking go through him like a hot knife through butter.
Probably quit in his corner. That's probably what's
beat him like a red-headed stepchild, like a rented mule.
He liked that. He liked that attention that Lomachenko was getting when he was like making guys quit on the stool. So let's see. He's that Yildirim guy quit on the stool. Billy Joe Saunders quit on the stool. So he's on a two fighter streak where they said no mas. So I think that's what's going to happen. The third guy is going to be
beat him like a stolen car.
And we got Kenshiro.
Canelo is one of these good boxers that sees like patterns and he's like, you know what? I'm going to try to do the same thing. I'm going to see if I'll do it. But of course, it's all natural with me though. So.
Now wait a minute, I sense a little sarcasm there. Hey, by the way, we got.
I'm just saying, Canelo's, he's Jesus, so you got
he's Jesus. Now you're being a little bit blasphemous here, blasphemous. I don't appreciate that.
With the canalitas.
Hey Kevin, please mute your mic, man. I hear a eye struck whatever there in the background, man. Please mute your mics if you're not gonna.
My redneck show, Astro Sugar.
Hey, we got Kenshiro dropping by.
Right, I'm muted.
We got Kenshiro dropping by. Kenshiro, you there?
Yeah, well, I'm here, my man. How you doing, BDA and the rest of the gang?
Doing delightful. Now that you're on, listen, we're talking about Caleb Plant versus Canelo. What can Caleb Plant do? We got 2 minutes left on this subject, or less than that. What do you think happens in this fight?
I mean, that's if it depends how bad the Canelo Plant's team want Canelo to try to join their sort of PBC, because it looks like if Canelo's not going to go down that route, then he obviously has to jump up. If he goes down that route, I think he will destroy Plant. But then I don't know how long they're going to try to tie him down to their little...
They already agreed, brother, to one. They said they'll do a one-off.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough. Oh, well. Then should be undisputed first-time Mexican full-belt champion.
There you go. I agree 100% with you, brother.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Plant, I mean, if I'm right, Plant even has never got $1 million before, and I don't know how much.
$750,000 is his highest. He's never fought. I mean, anybody, even Canelo's sparring partners are probably better than fucking people Plant has fought in a ring. Let's be honest. This is pay me my money, and I'm gonna move back to my hometown and open up a bar.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like BGA. It's like Billy. Well, it's like Billy Joel Saunders when he got $6 million. I mean, if Caleb has never hit 7 figures, who the hell does he think he's trying to get 8 figures? And you're thinking, you're mad. Just get your money and just retire and go on the farm or do some commentating or something. Because
On the farm.
I mean, he's going to put. Canelo's going to send him to the glue factory, and that's going to be the end of it.
First of all, I have to address what Jimmy said as well. First of all, Kishiro goes in the farm as if just because Caleb Plant's a white guy, he's not going to live in a farm in the Midwest. And Jimmy goes, open up a bar. That's a very Bostonian thing right there as well. It's just, hey, I made my money in sports. Let me go open up a bar. But it's true. Listen.
No, but is Caleb white? Because I thought he calls himself black at times and all. I'm a bit confused. He calls himself a white guy or a black guy?
Does he call
He
himself
said in
white?
an interview once that it relates more with black people.
Oh, there
you go. So Vanilla
that's who
Ice
he hung around with and grew up with in a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
So basically, Vanilla Ice 2.0 is going to get smashed up by Canelo.
He's the MC Search of boxing. That's what he is.
All right, we cool.
Yeah, that's right. We cool. That's Caleb Plant when he's hanging out with black people.
Hey, you tripping, fool? What's up? What's up?
This is what he's gonna say. This is what he's gonna say when he faces Canelo.
Nigga need help over here.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the fucking dude's mother was shot and killed by police. When your mom's getting fucking shot down by the cops, dude, man, something's not right in your circle.
And I'm assuming it was a clean kill, right? It was like
it was justified.
Okay, so look, man. That's bad that I would even laugh or anything like that. But what I'm saying is,
it's not that bad.
There's something going on in the household. I mean, look, I don't want to comment. I don't want to say, but whatever. The guy's weird. Guy has some strange things happen in his life, and not to say that strange things that happen in your life should be all your fault. It just doesn't happen by coincidence. I'll say that.
Yeah, and to put a stamp on it, it's like terrible. God forbid his mom died. That's terrible, man. Of course, it's sickening. But normal people don't put themselves in a position to be shot by police. So I'm saying, this kid had a fucked up childhood.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you go on YouTube, there's a video of him fighting some dude while he was topless, way back in the day. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
I saw that video. Yeah.
Type in Caleb Plant street fight, and he's youngin fighting some dude. Yeah.
Basically, the one with the knife. The dude pulls out a knife.
Yeah, because he's getting his ass fucking handed to him.
Yeah, that's the video.
Because the guy Caleb Plant was this guy was big for no reason. In comparison to Caleb Plant, he was a bigger man. And Caleb was just basically just smacking him around, just kicking him, punching him. And the guy said, "Fuck this! I'm pulling out a knife."
Well, I'm not being funny. Caleb Plant must be smoking something if he actually thinks he's gonna beat Canelo. But hey, you know what I mean? Strange thing.
Yeah, but you know something? If he comes in there to, what I'm seeing, right? And I'm being nice. Emphasis on the being nice. What I'm seeing is these guys they're giving up. He's not like super great. Punch that motherfucker in his face. Punch him in his chest. If I was 6'2", training my fucking ass off every single day, close to his age, I'd be trying to put my fucking big fist down his chest, his face, all day. Prove to me you're a great counterpuncher, not just your reputation as a great counterpuncher, and I'm not going to do anything. No, you got to prove it to me. I want to see if I can break. Hold on, real quick. I want to see if I can break skin in his face. I want to see if let me see how he feels then. But what these guys are doing is they're losing before the fight starts.
So basically, it's a Mike Tyson from the 80s, basically, that he beats him before they get in the ring. No. I mean, he beats him before he gets in the ring type thing.
I think yes, but in reality, maybe a little bit, but not really. Mike Tyson, I saw the fear in these guys' eyes.
Yeah.
These guys look like they're confused. Like, what do I do exactly?
Hey, but recognize, you said, I understand your point, and it's true. I completely understand. But you did say something else. You said, if I were 6'2", aren't you 6'2" tall?
No, I'm saying if I was a boxer, like what?
Okay.
What Caleb Plant is what 6'1"?
Because your real height has always been a point of contention over here. One day
Listen,
you're
man,
6'3",
I'm really, I don't want to make people feel bad, but I'm really like 6'9". Okay,
No.
but whatever.
You're my height then. You're my height.
Dude, honestly, 6'2", you could be jealous, dude. 6'9", dude, come on. The fucking circus is in town. Nobody's jealous of that shit.
Jimmy's ruthless today, man. I don't know.
Great analogy. He's on fire.
Yeah, man.
Well, look,
All right,
what's this? Caleb Plant's going to put up a better fight than Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders.
Oh, come on.
And who's the other clown from England that he destroyed? The other gangly dude.
Callum Smith.
Callum Smith, yeah.
Oh, that one. Rocky Fielding.
Rocky Fielding.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
he's going to put up a better fight than those clowns, that's for sure. And
It's-
you can guarantee that.
All right, fellas, we got to go to a phone call here because I opened up the phone lines too. So somebody's been waiting. Let's get to them. 718. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, 718. You're on the air. 718. What's on your mind?
New York.
I can barely hear you, man.
So look, somebody needs to get their grandfather to stop hating on Caleb Plant. I don't know who that is, but it's way too personal.
All right.
Caleb Plant does better than Laura.
Wait, hold on.
Does better than Billy Joe Saunders.
Hold on. Caller. Hold on. Just
He
talk
gives
for
Canelo a tough
Caller,
fight.
can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me? Okay, can you guys hear him? Okay, sorry, caller. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, I could hear. We could hear you now. At least I could.
So I would definitely place a bet if I'm a betting man, which I will be. I'll place a bet on Caleb Plant. Canelo is definitely the favorite, but you guys are putting too much hate on this man. He hasn't had a chance to prove himself. This is his opportunity.
Hate on who?
What do you mean he hasn't had a chance? Who stopped him from having a chance before that?
He's a world champion for 2 years.
He's looked good. He's looked good against
Yeah, but
everybody
a prospect.
so.
Well, hold on. First, we got to rewind. Because we're saying, most people are saying he doesn't have a shot. That's hate?
No. I've heard a lot more than he doesn't have a shot.
Well, what else do we say that's hate? Or hateful, rather?
Personal.
The grandfather, he said a couple things. I mean, he could repeat himself. I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but
that's because you didn't hear anything.
No, you can get into it, dude. You're not going to make that comment and then say you're not going to get into it. And you can stuff that grandfather shit up your ass, because I'll tell you right now, these two grandfathers would fucking slap the dog shit out of you, kid.
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute.
Know that.
You can't talk to our callers. You can't talk to our callers.
Clown.
What you said about Caleb Plant. You had some personal things to say about Caleb Plant. I'm
No,
not.
dude, tell me what I said. You made the accusation. I said the poor kid had a fucked up life, because you can obviously tell he had a fucked up life.
Like you,
I said that's a shame.
What's the relevance of that, Grandpa? What's the relevance of that? Can we talk about?
Hey, dude, look. I'm gonna show you. How being personal. I'm gonna show you how being personal is, right? Look, guy with the feminine voice. You with the feminine voice.
What you would do?
All right, hold on. Let me interject here. First of all,
Caleb Plant has a belt, which Canelo wants. So let Caleb Plant prove himself, because Canelo wants that opportunity. What can you say? Every fighter that Caleb Plant has fought, he's done what he's supposed to do. He's fundamentally better than Billy Joe. He's better than Laura, so give him an opportunity. Canelo is the favorite.
What are you basing he's better than Laura? What are you basing that off of?
Who has Caleb Plant fought? That's a great, decent
That's
opponent.
my opinion. That's my opinion. The same way you guys all have your own opinion, that's my opinion.
well, can you?
There's such thing as an educated mind.
Fellas, please. Okay, but all right, but
He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside.
Caller. Can you? I know it's just your opinion, but can you at least back it up?
Who has Plant fought?
So I believe his style. Listen, I believe his style. He won't be moving as much. He's just as good in the inside. He's sharp on the outside. And we have to see, he has some power as well.
Okay,
so let's just consistently jab and take tactics.
Chief, tell him, dude. This Caleb Plant has zero inside game.
Hold on, fellas, please. There's a bit of a delay here between the calls and the
He's got a feminine voice. Can you tell him that, bro? You got to speak with bass in your voice. You sound like a little girl.
Oh, come on. Now, wait a minute. See, now that's a
No, I just want to... It's just like he insulted us. Hey, 718 with the feminine voice. Speak like a man so we can understand you.
Oh.
That shit that's weak, but okay, that's weak. This is my voice.
man.
I don't care what it sounds like.
No, it's
weak.
weak. Just coming in the show and starting to insult the panelists.
Your voice and your points are weak. Your voice and your points are weak, bro. I don't understand what you're saying.
And recognize. You're talking about fucking being disrespectful, dude. You call a show, start insulting panelists, make accusations, and then when the host of the show says, exactly what did they say? I'm not going to get into it. Who the fuck do you think you are, dude?
Hey, by the way,
we're talking about I looked at Caleb Plant's record. So I just told you how I think Caleb Plant is better than Laura, will do better than Laura in a Canelo fight. Rebut my opinion.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, whoa. He wants a rebuttal. Let me
talking about my voice and what he would do if he fought. You don't fight, my guy. You watch YouTube videos and you talk
my
about
guy, you sound gay, bro. Talk like a man. Stop talking like that.
Recognize. Let me take this. Let the guy
bitch ass motherfucker from New York. That's all. Go ahead. Keep talking.
Give the guy like 2 to 3 minutes to go ahead and make his case, and I'll rebut it.
No, well, he already made his case, Chief. He said Caleb Plant is sharp on the inside. Hold on. Please, one at a time. One at a time, please. One at a time. Look, Chief, this is what the guy on the phone said. He said Caleb Plant is sharp on the inside, sharp on the outside. That's all he said. He doesn't want to go any further. So you rebuttal, Chief. Go ahead.
So my rebuttal is this. Okay, you support it with what? You haven't supported with any named fights that. And before you interrupt me, I'm going. You've talked for 20 minutes now and not really made a point. So it's my turn. Now, you're saying he's better on the inside and better on the outside. You've named 0 fights that back up your point on this, other than just your opinion. Now, when we base our opinion, we bring it based off of fights that Canelo's been in. You've brought none of that. You keep saying you throw out an opinion as if just because you think therefore did I tell you to watch your mouth and stop? I did.
Hey, caller, why you interrupt? Hold on, caller. Why are you interrupting, caller?
Go ahead. We don't need to go through this. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Caller, yeah, okay, please. Don't interrupt. Chief.
Okay, so you bring up no particular instances that this happened, and then you bring up the Lara fight, which happened almost half a decade ago. And between all of the parties mentioned, Lara, Plant, and Canelo, the only one that's improved has been Canelo. And drastically, not to mention, if you know enough about boxing, that was at 154. We're talking about 168. That's almost 20. That's at least 10 pounds
15.
difference. 15. Thank you. I'm off on my math. But will you bring something to the table other than just like you think, therefore you are? Which fights do you think demonstrate the fact that Caleb Plant is going to give Canelo a tougher fight because he's just as good an in-fighter or he's just as good an out-fighter as either Canelo or his previous opponents? I'll wait.
I weigh his skill set. So based on his foot movement, based on his skills, I know he hasn't fought anybody, which I understand that. And I'm using these fights as gauges. I understand we're not talking about 154 Canelo or 160 Canelo. I'm using these fights as gauges because guess what? Caleb Plant has only been able to show what he has based on who he has fought. So,
yep.
What else can we do? We're talking about him. This is just a paycheck for him. He should retire. Let the man prove himself. Based on his skill set and his fundamentals, I think he's just as sharp, like I said to begin with. And I said more than what you said. I said that he has a better skill set than a lot of fighters that Canelo has faced. And that he has an opportunity to give Canelo
one at a time. Now, let me just interject. Hold on, Chief, please. Let me just interject and say something here. I think I know also what's coming here is the problem is you said, well, you guys said he should retire. Again, you misconstrued and you didn't listen properly. Nobody here said he should just retire now. Somebody was theorizing that if he... Hold on. Hey, caller, why are you... Please.
Dude, don't talk over people, bro. What are you, 12?
Hold on. Please, no. Hold on. Please, let me continue. So yeah, somebody theorized that if he loses, he will probably retire. Nobody's saying, "Oh, this guy sucks. He should retire." Yeah. And to your point, I do believe that Caleb Plant's speed and skills are gonna. He's not gonna make it easy for Canelo. But ultimately, his face falls apart. He's got thick skin in his face. The only real fighter he's fought of any quality was Usyk. And Usyk was busting. He hit him once and his whole face was falling apart. So you have to assume that Canelo, who's going around breaking bones, is gonna do some real damage on Caleb Plant. So all we're saying is, like most people believe, he's the underdog, and he's really gonna have to step it up if he wants to beat Canelo convincingly.
He's the underdog.
BDA, can I ask him one question? Just one boxing related question after.
All right, so let him make his statement. Let the caller make his statement, and then Jimmy, you'll ask him a question. But go ahead, caller.
So I agree with everything you said. I believe Canelo will win because the evidence shows that Canelo has fought way better fighters. He's better in a lot of ways, and I think what Canelo has shown is that he can adapt to boxers like this, and he can definitely take Caleb Plant's power. But what I don't respect is grown men having these opinions about a fighter who has not had a chance to prove himself. I don't think he's ducked anybody. He has a belt. Canelo wants the belt. Give him an opportunity. Somebody asked me whether I'm 12, but they're making statements like he should retire. He's talking about his family matters.
Nobody said that he should retire. Nobody said that he should retire.
BDA just was very gentlemanly, told you that nobody... BDA just took the time to tell you in detail how nobody said that. So what it is, you're getting so up in your feelings, dude. You're so nut deep in your feelings. You're hearing shit, and they're coming at us. And then when you're wrong, and then it's brought up to you and explained that's not what happened. Then you say it again. That's acting like a 12-year-old. My question, my one boxing question to you, brother, is this. My one boxing question to you is, what fight did you see Caleb Plant fight on the inside? Answer that one question.
What's his name? Felix.
I'll help you.
Felix, hold on. I didn't hear the answer. Felix, who?
He hit him with the left hook on the inside.
He said, please, guys, don't talk at the same time where he's talking because I can't hear. He said Fagenbutz, the German dude. I think that's what he said. So a guy who's got a strong German who's never fought anybody, never beat anybody. That's who he showed his inside.
No. He asked me what fight did he fight on the inside, and I'm telling you, I'm not talking about the guy's skill set.
Hold on, that fight wasn't fought on the inside. It was maybe a one shot when you got in close. It wasn't fought on the inside, though.
He showed that he has offense and defense on the inside.
But then that's why I brought up the point that against who, and that's an important aspect as well.
56th ranked fighter.
I can tell you that I can
ranked in the world.
Because I can tell you I can box on the outside, I can box on the inside. Yeah, but if I'm boxing 10-year-old kids, well, obviously I'm going to look like a superstar. Number two, just because we got to move on, caller, but I think what happened too is we got off the wrong foot here or you got off the wrong foot because you made it personal. You came in here and you said, I don't like your opinion. But you didn't even listen. But you didn't even listen.
Sure, because I think these statements don't have any.
But you didn't even listen. But again, nobody victim. Nobody said that he should retire. Nobody said that he's a piece of shit. Nobody said anything what you're saying. I think what happens is the clock just ended. I think what happened was that caller. I think what happened is you smoked too much, a little bit too much ganja, which is understandable. It's the 21st century, and you sort of maybe didn't listen properly. But listen, you stirred up the hornet's net here. I liked it. We need some action here. So thank you for your call. We'll call you. We'll catch you
Good for you.
All right. Let's move on to... Oh, by the way, hold on. I have to read a couple of super chats. GB Guthrie. Shout out to GB Guthrie with the super chat. No message left, but shout out to GB Guthrie for his contribution. And shout out to Chris K for his contribution with the super chat, a.k.a. Undercover Asian, who said, Caleb, Marshmallow Hands Plant will fold within 6. Oh, all right. There you have
that. He probably will, man. And for the caller's sake, dude, like, I hate Canelo. I hope he loses. Like, I just don't think Caleb Plant's going to beat him. I don't think he's going to be the guy that beats him. Right?
There you go.
Right.
You just need to calm your ass down, especially when you're making insults with a feminine voice. I get very upset about that.
In BDA, right? And I cracked a joke. I was saying, because listen, every boxer I know, that's what usually they did. If they made any scratch, they bought a bar in whatever neighborhood they lived in, and everybody, champs, they would call it. I was making a fucking, just, a joke. But I didn't tell him he should retire. You know what I'm saying, dude? So you're right. He came in with his he was ball deep in his feelings, and he came out swinging.
Yeah, he was exactly. He was the one. The way I did, but exactly, he was the one that was his feelings. And look, listen, I just wanted to try to straighten it out, but even then, he still didn't get the point. So that's why I said I suspect either drunk, high, or maybe just not that great a listener. Those are my three options there. Real quick, let's go to another phone call right now. Let's go to 386. You're on the air. 386. What's on your mind?
Hey, this is Kevin from Chicago. How's everybody doing?
Wait a minute. That's not possible. We got Kevin.
Nah, what's up, Jimmy? What's up, PDA? What's up, you pussies?
Oh,
I mean,
Jackson.
my brothers. How you guys doing? I'm fucking. We're having fun.
Hey, he's on
boys.
fire
What's up?
Jackson!
It's Friday. What do you expect?
My
Everyone's fired
boys,
up, man.
how we doing? I want to give a shout out to Thunderdome. I hate doing this, but our other brothers got a stream going on right now too. And, these are the two best channels in boxing. So I want to give a shout out for both my bros BDA and Thunderdome. But yeah, bro, I wanted to touch on some things like when we come to Usyk Joshua. So my head goes with. I hope we're talking about that. When my head goes with fucking Usyk, you go boxing skill. He's actually pretty heavy. Like, he's not, footwork. And then my gut is like, AJ, big dude, hits hard. It's going to knock him out. It's like when Tito fought that Mexican Vargas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, speaking of Vargas Trinidad, I know Boxing Chief remembers that because he's got it on replay 24/7 at his house. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Do you, Chief?
Yeah, I play it every anniversary with my wife.
Oh man, I don't doubt
beautiful,
it.
Man.
Well, there's a story behind that I'll tell later. But anyway,
so Chief, so Jackson, you think that Usyk Joshua, it's being overlooked a little bit, or Usyk's being overlooked? Is that what you said?
Well, yeah, let me say this, BDA. I think it's about 55-45. I'd go with Usyk, but, because I'm calculating these odds, and the value is basically it's a 50-50 fight, because if you break down the spread, or it's like, what the odds are is like 55-45 Joshua, but that, but Usyk's not the ace. He's not the promotional guy, and I just see this dude is so skilled. Like, when you broke down that Joyce fight, you did a great job, BDA. I'm going to give a shout-out to BDA for breaking that film down, because that was fucking beautiful, man.
Which fight?
All those clips. Or was that Bucho?
Which fight?
It was like your last fucking episode, bro.
Oh, okay, it was then Joyce versus Usyk versus Joyce, yeah.
Yeah. Usyk was tagging the fuck out of him.
Yeah, man, that's the thing.
Yeah,
though.
that was good. Good stuff, BDA.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it, man. And okay, so do you think that fight, that the Usyk Joshua fight, goes a little bit similar way, or?
Let me say what I think about that. We got Fat Andy to go off of, so in theory, Usyk should be able to go, and in theory, he should be able to outbox him. And let's not talk about robberies and shit. Let's just talk about if it was in a vacuum and it was going to be scored fair, okay? And say like Usyk gets like 8 of the rounds. He fucking pulls who was a Garcia that he had it. I think he can win that, but it's just boxing's becoming terrible because it's all this game theory bullshit, and it's pure theater now. It used to just be like, even Teddy Atlas is finally like fucking stroking out,
What do you mean finally? He's been stroking out for the past 20 years, man.
Yeah, you're right about that. But that's all. I just want to say, Usyk is the better fighter, and I hope he gets a fair shake. That's all I'm saying, because the guy is one of the. He's a great man, and I want to see him get his shot, and he's getting up there in age. And shout out to the boys, Jimmy. Recognize, I'll be listening. I had a rough couple of days. I was celebrating. It was fucking a wild couple of days, so I'm taking a seat.
All right.
Pete, if Pete's there, you shut your fucking mouth.
No, okay. Well, Jackson, thank you for your call, man.
Fuck you.
We'll catch you in the next one, all right?
Wait. Let me give a proper goodbye.
Go ahead.
Okay. Peace out, fellas.
There you go. Yeah.
Take it easy, brother. Thank you.
The other one where he's talking about the partying and all that's not for our, we got a pretty, milquetoast audience. You can't really go around saying that type of stuff. Real quick, shout out to, hold on a second, real quick. I'm looking through the comments here. I'm scrolling. Texas Bulldog. Shout out to Texas Bulldog, who says, I like Plant, but 179 punches in 12 rounds won't won't beat Canelo. That's right. Punching. Yeah, listen, you can get away with that against Porky Medina and all those other guys. Canelo, it ain't gonna cut it. Shout out to Michael Poe for his contribution, who says, I agree with you, Recognize. I don't like Melo for my own reasons, but Plant won't make a dent. Okay, he says, I don't like Canelo for my own reasons, but I don't think Plant will make a dent at all in their fight. So shout out to those two guys for the contribution, Texas Bulldog and Michael Poe. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit this link here that I'm posting here if you want to join the panel. Join the Discord, talk with us about some of the subjects we're going to be discussing. And we got Virtuoso jumping on the Discord. Virtuoso, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, guys?
How you doing? What's the issue that you just got on from Ring Magazine?
Oh, yeah, that's the collector's edition, I think, of the Four Kings.
Whoa.
Just got it in the mail. I'm about to read it right now, man.
Nice. Yeah. Take it to the toilet. Man. Just don't drop it in the toilet when you go there. Listen.
Did you guys read about today about Crawford versus Porter? Have you guys discussed that already? Because obviously I came a little bit late.
Yeah, unfortunately. We already talked. You better believe it.
Okay, that's cool. That's not good. I'll watch it earlier on then. I'll watch it later on.
All right. I wanted to move on to the next subject here, so let me start the clock here.
One final point real quick on this Caleb Plant talk, because I want to say, this dude's, everyone says he's got pillow hands. Pillow hands this. He got dick skin. I don't think he's got pillow hands. He's hurt a lot of people. You see what he did to Jose Kusagi, whatever his name is. He hurt him bad. He dropped him a few times.
Nigga.
Yeah,
bullshit.
Sure. He's not trash. It's just compared to Canelo, he's trash. But in general, he's a very good fighter.
Bullshit.
Yeah, he power in his hands. That left hook, that check left hook, that dude's hurting some people.
All right, well, listen, if the fight happens, we'll see, man. We'll see. It's up to Caleb Plant to prove us wrong. That's why he's the fighter, and that's why he's getting in the ring there and taking the risk.
Canelo's got a blockhead from all that HGH. It's hard to hurt when you got that blockhead. But
by the way,
Kev, I just got to ask you, dude, because you went on a pretty good little tear there. Who the fuck is he hurt? Seriously, like, I mean, I know he's hurt me every time I watch him box. I end up falling asleep and I get a stiff shoulder.
Jimmy.
Jimmy's on fire today, man. Jimmy's on fire. Jimmy, did you take a shot of whiskey, man? Or?
How do you say his last name?
Uskategui.
Usyk. That fucking kid's been fucking trash.
No, come on.
For a while now. He has, dude. He fucking looked really good against Peterson. He came on strong, and the dude, since Caleb, you see his last two fights? Oh my God, he was fucking. He was garbage.
You're gonna get the call is gonna call.
Ruined him.
If you continue like that, Jimmy, if you continue like that, then the guy's gonna call back and call you grandpa again. You're gonna be pissing him off, man. Come on, now. Stop.
He was calling me and Recognize. Actually, I got more pissed. He was calling Recognize that.
Hey, but how does he
I
know
thought he was talking to Recognize at the time.
How would he know how old you are, though? Because that's somebody that has been listening.
He probably knows by listening to the show and just hearing our voices. He's probably 20 years old, 19. Just, I mean, the arguments he was making, bro. Not to go, but he would sit there and spew nothing but opinion based off of nothing he would even offer, and then say, "Guys, just up here just giving opinions." Like,
well,
what?
Listen.
But there's a difference between educated and non-educated opinions.
Speaking of opinions,
if you look at Plant's last three fights, Strix, Lee, and the German guy, that's not saying much, is it? In 2 years.
No, that's a PBC platinum package he's on. 2 fights a year, or maybe 1 fight a year. Real quick, okay, so move on to the next subject here. Let me start the clock. Jermall Charlo's trainer, Ronnie Shields. Jermall's Charlo, that is, trainers. But Ronnie Shields says that Benavidez brings nothing to the table, and that's why they don't want to fight him, meaning no belt, and I suspect no money either in terms of a gate or anything like that. Is that a duck? Is Charlo out of his mind for not wanting to fight a guy just because he doesn't have a belt?
Charlo's smart not to fight this guy. I mean, there is no upside. He's right, because he has to move out of his division. He doesn't have to give up his belt. But even if Benavidez has a belt, this is a fight that he knows he has very little chance to win with no upside. Because let's say he does win. Does that automatically guarantee him a Canelo fight since it's an in-house PBC fight? No, it doesn't. So there's no real benefit for him to have to fight this guy. Now, I'm not defending Charlo saying he shouldn't fight him. If he wants to prove that he's great and he wants to be the face of boxing, one of the first steps should be he should be fighting this guy. I can't get Canelo. then Boo Boo and Benavidez are the two guys I want next. That's what he should be saying if he wants to be the face of boxing, but he's not.
Or Triple G.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's funny how they're all calling out Triple G now that he's old. But Chief, to your point though, the old man did say that they want the Charlo fight so bad. I watched that, and it was I think The Voice, but he was saying we'll go to 160. Or if, better case scenario, well, let's meet at 164. But if have to, we will go to 160. So if they go down to 160 to chase him in his title down there, then there's no excuse. Because that kid will be emaciated unless he's been training and try to keep the weight off now. But that would be if Charlo was going to have if he was going to nut up to fight him, it would be then, because he knows how thin he'd be. But Charlo is just like his other brother. They're twins, man. They're great athletes, not fighters.
Charlo doesn't owe Benavidez nothing. Benavidez can't even make weight. Failed in drug test. The dude ain't deserving of shit.
Brought up better numbers his last fight. I think he brought in better numbers than Charlo. Big Charlo did, though. And he's much more fan-friendly, and he has a better following.
Yeah, 150.
More hardcore following.
Well, to Chief's point about Benavidez not Charlo's being smart for not facing Benavidez. I mean, it's smart in that if you want to preserve your health, that's for sure. Because we already saw with Charlo, he fought a guy that really upped his game in Montiel and fought a lot like Benavidez does. Of course, Benavidez is a much better fighter, but I do think there's an upside to fighting and beating Benavidez if he could pull that off. Which is, you're beating one of the top 3 fighters in super middleweight. If you beat that guy, and chances are Canelo's going to walk through Plant, then you set yourself up for a potential super middleweight showdown, bonanza. But if Charlo decides, okay, I'm not going to fight, because here's what happened. Charlo apparently is waiting for a Canelo payday. He thinks he's next in line for a Canelo payday if Canelo beats Plant. But here's the thing. Let's say he's in line for it, right? What's he going to do in the meantime? Just stay in the gym, not doing anything, not getting paid? Is he gonna fight another?
The same thing. Hey, BDA, he's gonna do the same thing Billy Joe Saunders and a lot of these guys do. Nothing. I'm not gonna do anything.
Why don't you fight Boo Boo, get an extra belt, and then take an L from him as well, or make him look Canelo?
But recognize that's the thing though. Okay, so he's not. Instead of doing that, why doesn't he fight Benavidez and try to set himself up as a
I agree. Yeah, I mean, that would be the look. If you like what Benavidez has said, this, why don't we fight each other and then see who earns a shot at Canelo? I know there's a lot of Benavidez hate, and maybe he deserves it, but I think the real fighter there is Benavidez.
Absolutely,
I think he's more the real fighter than these two clowns that are just sitting around waiting.
Hang on. Even if Benavidez did fight Charlo, what guarantee are they the next one after Plant? Because I personally think Canelo would probably just say, well, I've done 168 now, I'm going to even fight Triple G for
I agree.
175.
No, I agree with you. Like, look, once he accomplishes 168, undisputed, it's probably nothing for him to do. But can you imagine if Benavidez or Charlo go in there at 168 and one of them kill each other? Like, one of those guys win a dominant performance. It kind of makes it kind of says pump the brakes, Canelo. You got a new enemy. You got a new dancing partner that can make up. This is all assuming. All I'm doing is assuming that
at what weight? 168, you mean?
168, yes, 168, 168 pounds. Now listen, 168. He wins. He beats Caleb Plant, right, in September. We all think that's going to happen. Let's say it does happen. Then you got Charlo and Benavidez in the meantime fighting each other. One of those guys win in dominant fashion. You're not going to want to see that fight. You're not going to want to see whoever won to go in there against Canelo at 168. I'm talking about dominant fashion. They go in there and they earn their strike. One of those guys go in there, earn their strike.
Could Triple G go to 168 fight Canelo or no?
I wouldn't think it would be wise at his point for him to change his walk around weight.
I think Triple G. This is what I think. I think that if Triple G wants a third fight, that's the only option. He's going to have to go up to 168. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's gonna. Yeah, Canelo would drag him up. But you know why the Benavidez fight definitely isn't going to happen? Just by what you do is you go by the fucking ridiculous obstacles the other fighter tries to put in his way. Did you see the loops he was trying to send this kid through? First, he wasn't going to fight him because he didn't have a belt. And then when he ended up getting a belt, he says, okay, I'm not going to fight him until he gets a fucking vaccination. Fucking, I guess, once a kid goes on, gets a vaccination. And then he turned around and said, well, I'm not fighting anybody under 25 years old.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's what's next.
That's what he said.
I'm not fighting.
Who said that? Who said that? Charlo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Next thing he's going to say
wants
is
nothing to do with it.
Next thing he's going to say is, I'm not going to fight a guy who wipes his ass standing up. No, he's got to be sitting down. Shut up with all these fucking details, man. These guys are turning. They're turning insane.
Comment on that one?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my call is this: is that we get undisputed. Al Heyman goes to the WBC and says, "We want the WBC belt, and they can't take it away from Canelo." So somehow or another, the WBC, even though they're not really close to Al Heyman, approaches Canelo with the franchise belt at 168 to where the WBC belt comes vacant, and now Benavidez gets to fight for it, so Al Heyman has another belt. In which case, then they can probably try and push something for Charlo and Benavidez if they run out of options for the two of them.
That's one scenario right there, man. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? And
that's probably a very likely scenario, too, because remember, the first WBC franchise champion was Canelo.
And he was not like the PBC. They love them Reggie belts.
And then Canelo will be a two-time franchise WBC champion. The first Mexican ever to be a two-time franchise champion.
I wouldn't take that designation. The reason being, dude, they did that to Lomachenko while I don't know, whatever. He got it. Okay, so he has that. Now, because of that, and then Teofimo took it off Lomachenko, and instead of being looked at like I look at him as the unified, champion, everybody's saying, hold on. Fucking, he's got the world champion belt, Haney. That's just a franchise, and so that because of that designation has now cost fucking. You know what I mean? It's caused such. I mean, do you ever see that interview where fucking Maurice Suleiman tried to explain? He dick-tied himself in 2 sentences.
Dude, he's tripping over his own feet. He's like
ridiculous.
Do you remember when Eddie Hearn was telling Teofimo Lopez and his dad, like, no, you've only got 3 belts. You haven't got 4. Get the fuck out, get the 4th one from Haney, remember?
Can you imagine that? You fought this guy for, now you're a 4, but maybe really a 3?
Because of that stupid franchise tag. All it did was just fucking muddy up the waters. And at the end of the day, it just brings more sanctioning fees. Because depending on the fight, all right, for instance, think about this. Remember when Canelo was fighting Cotto, right? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I don't know how long ago it was now. But now think about this. They wanted $800,000 from Cotto to use that belt. That's what they wanted, just for that fight. So that could very seldom they usually release. I mean, you can find out. They don't hide it, but that time it became a story because Cotto was like, no way, because he knew it was walking away money, and he was like, I'm not paying you $800,000, and that's when he dumped it, and that's how Canelo got the belt because Cotto just gave it to him. Because he wasn't going to pay the $800,000. Imagine that. So think about how much money in a sanctioned body. Really, what is it? It's an office with a secretary and a fucking used car salesman with too much gold and fucking cholesterol problems. Seriously, that's all it is. These motherfuckers are rolling in money.
This shit right here ain't.
That's right. Yeah, the biggest lie I ever told in Boston that these organizations are non-profit, and that is so far from the truth.
It's a non-profit in the sense that I guess the government doesn't give them anything, right?
But I mean, they have tax filings, right?
But they're getting money.
Yeah.
They're getting money, yeah.
Hey, speaking of numbers...
It's better to say you're a non-profit.
I did not know that. I did not know they were a 503. I didn't know they were non-profit. All of them? I thought they were... Really? That's surprising because they fucking pocket so much. Well, even in a non-profit, you can still pay yourself exorbitant salaries.
Yes,
there's nothing in it that says you can't. You know what I mean?
Yes, you can. You're absolutely right. But Jose Suleiman did an article in Ring Magazine years back when he was still alive, obviously. That the WBC is a non-profit organization. So what the gentleman said is true.
All right, listen, fellas, real quick, we need to go to a phone call here. Let's go to 832, you're on the air. 832, what's on your mind?
Y'all can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, man. What's on your mind?
Hey.
Salute to you guys, man. On the topic of Canelo and Caleb Plant, bro. Like, I heard y'all last caller, bro. Hey, yo, that shit was funny, bro. Like, he really put a bet on Caleb Plant. Like, Caleb Plant, like, I'm pretty sure
Canelo fanboy.
Go ahead, caller.
No, I ain't a... Look, I honestly, bro, I thought I would recognize, bro. I don't really like Canelo, you know? But look, bro, I think I've been saying this for the longest, bro. If anybody's gonna beat Canelo, it's either gonna be two people. It's gonna be Benavidez or it's gonna be Beterbiev. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or for the time,
bro. Yeah. Bro, what was y'all gonna say?
Somebody said father time.
Yeah, in other words, he gets old and, he ain't shit no more. So then somebody beats him.
And I agree with you, Carter. I think Benavidez, if he goes up to 175, just because of that sheer power, that'd be a whole different world for him up there. But other than that, like you said, or Benavidez outdogs him. That's the only two people I see who beats him right now.
Yeah, man, because look, Caleb Plant, I'm not necessarily too familiar with him. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't really watch his fights, but whenever I do watch him, I'll see him like do lateral movement and do little slick pivots and stuff. But when I do see him actually like throw punch, like he doesn't really throw punches. Like he doesn't really he's not like an epic counter puncher. He's not like, he makes people miss. Fair enough, but he doesn't knock his opponents out. You know what I'm saying? Like a Beterbiev, like a Benavidez, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's talking about Canelo, right?
No, he's talking about Caleb Plant.
No,
Caleb Plant. Okay, gotcha. Yes, you're right. And Canelo too, but
See,
like even Billy Joe Saunders. Well, Billy Joe Saunders actually had more pop than Caleb Plant. Like, if I had to say so myself, man. Like, from what I've seen, you know what I mean?
I think his jab. He's got more.
That last caller, bro. That last caller said he's better than Lara, bro. He said it's better, bro. Hell nah, bro. Bro, Lara damn near whooped Canelo. He basically gave Canelo a whooping. Am I right?
Well, I would call it a whooping, but
I don't think he whooped him. I think he made an argument that he could have won that fight. I agree with that. Me personally, I thought Canelo edged it. If I had to give it to anybody, because I think he was the aggressor. He for the most of the fight, but it was close enough.
Yeah, and Lara's talented enough. His game always rises. He's one of those dudes, a classic chameleon boxer, who's always better when the competition's better.
Yeah, that's a hot and cold fighter. That's what he was. Anyway, listen, caller, thank you for your call, man. We're gonna move on, but thank you for your input, and we'll catch you in the next one, all right, man?
Hey, salute you guys, you, Jimmy, recognize BDA. Y'all always hold the line, bro, whenever some stuff goes down.
Thank you,
bro.
brother.
If anybody gets out of line, bro, I just give him like a pimp slap, bro. You know, it's a little
Fanboy, man. I got your fanboy over Canelo. It's no hard feelings. We're square, right?
What?
Yeah. Salute to you,
dope.
All right, thank you.
That's all I wanted to say, bro.
All right, take it easy, caller.
Thanks, brother.
Catch you in the next one.
Yeah.
No, listen, it's not about pimp slapping anybody, but if you come in here and you're trying to fuck two cocktail waiters at a time, we gotta straighten you out. That's all. That's all. All right, listen.
Mo Green.
Mo Green. You don't come to Las Vegas and talk to a man like Mo Green like that. All right, so let's add 5 minutes. Actually, no, we're done with the Benavidez thing. Let's move on from that, because that's the clock right there.
Every time I hear that, I expect to hear fucking prison doors clanging shut. Lockdown.
Jimmy's the only guy that if he ever heard that, he's the only guy that would get a hard on. Because, all right.
Dude, my heart, every time I hear it, my heart races. No, that was the exact same sound they had at the joint I worked at. If there was a fucking break or if the guard was being stabbed or some code. Okay. Yeah, dude, whop, whop, sounded just like that. So it instantly puts you on fucking high alert. So if I'm nodding off over here and also I hear it and I jump out of my skin.
Okay, I was talking about how you
my
like the
didn't
perch.
sound quite the same, but anytime one goes off, it yeah, I know how you feel, Jimmy.
Right? Dude. It's crazy. It's
when
his
you woke up
instinct.
at 3:00 in the morning because the fire alarm's going off and you have 100 migrants on deck, you got to get up and fight the fire, make sure that there's no uprising on the flight deck at the same time.
Nothing worse than a fire on a boat, man. That's
You know
hell.
what, man? When I hear that, you know what I do? When I hear that, you know what I do? I grab the bull by his horns and say, "You don't want no part of me."
Oh,
yeah.
Well, shit, you're hiding your stash. You're hiding, making sure nobody grabs your commissary.
All right.
That's what I'd like to hear.
Let's
You ain't taking
go.
no shit. What's the next topic, BDA?
The next, very good question, Kevin. The next topic, I'm trying to find a good one here, because I got my pick here. Okay, you know what? Let's go. We already talked about Joshua. Let's go with this is another thing that's being rumored. Would a fit Mikey Garcia be too much for Gervonta Davis? Apparently, Mikey Garcia is looking for this fight, considering that Tank Davis has fought at 140. So what do you guys think? Is this an interesting fight? And
There's no chance Tank takes that. That'd be a good fight because listen, because that's his ideal fighting weight right now for Garcia. Even the old man said it. Remember, right after he went life and death at 140 with Lipinets, he just didn't carry the right power. He didn't look right. His father said immediately after the fight, what did he do? He went right back down to 135. Looked the best he looked in a long time against Easter. Remember how sharp he was? And what did he do after that though? The money came calling. They needed that Mexican name for the fucking big pay-per-view, and it worked because it drew in the biggest Spence payday pay-per-view numbers. But that being said, 135 is Mickey's thing, and there's no chance Mayweather puts him in with that. That's just my opinion.
Mikey doesn't make 135 if he gets becomes bulimic.
Wow,
he's too far away from that division, and he hasn't been active enough. You look at his face; he looks like he's 165 pounds. He's not making at 33 years old. As long as it's been since he's been at that weight, it's not going to be at 135.
Yeah, I saw him last year during a Top Rank, card, and he looked like a fucking light heavyweight, but like fat. And I'm like, dude, he's gonna take a drastic weight cut if he comes back to lightweight.
What happens if Tank and him fight 140?
Let me see something real quick.
Well, you're looking at LV said they're going back down. I know he just said it again the other day in an interview that they have no plans on keeping him at 140, and they're going right back to 135. And they're just putting that out there.
I'm adding in the fact that it's been 3 years since he's been under 145 pounds at weighing for a fight. So I don't think he can. I don't think that Mikey Garcia is going to fight anything.
No, I was talking about Spence. I was talking about not Spence. I was talking about Tank Davis.
Right, I know. But
I was talking about him going.
I thought someone said, "What if the fight would be at 140?"
Yeah.
I don't see Mikey going to 140. Mikey hasn't been under 145 in 3 years, and like one of the other gentlemen on the panel said, he backed him up my play on the fact that, like I said, I don't think he can make 135 or 140 pounds without eating a disorder. I just don't think he can do it anymore.
140 is obviously a lot easier to make than 135 if that fight was going to be made,
and that's still going to be too hard for him.
That might. Jay's right about that because the guy has like really bad. He doesn't have discipline, man. He's just started to like a guy who should be at 135.
He did when he was active and champion at a weight. Once he sold his undefeated record to Spence for a payday, it all went out the window, and he's reaping his rewards. He's been a boxer for a long time. He's come from a boxing family. I'm not dissing the guy for what he's done and what he's accomplished, but at the same time, the discipline now to get at the weight that he should be fighting at, that's too far gone. And he's 33, not 23. To get back down to 135, 140, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, and the thing is, even at 147, he had no muscle on him. Remember how pudgy he was at 147?
He was just chubby. Yeah, he was chubby.
Yeah, well, he had no muscle on him at all.
If he was serious about boxing, he'd be making 135, no problem.
Well, he's a career featherweight, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? He only had 5 fights above super featherweight, I think, 5 or 6.
Something like
that.
So
I mean, like he just like Chief said, he's just not dedicated. Listen, he wants to be a California police officer. I mean, a highway patrolman. He's wicked into that shit, and that's where his life's going to go after fighting. I don't know how much more his heart's into it.
I know why he wants to get into that. There's more money on the side for that one, bro.
Oh.
I thought he was gonna be the new Eric Estrada and become Chip's reunion or something.
Poncho. Poncho.
Good one.
Yeah.
That was funny. Italian on TV.
Yeah,
maybe he'll be the guy that plays that guy. A remake, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's that good an actor, man. Well, actually, yeah. But I mean, you know what the problem with Mikey Garcia is?
Was the guy.
Him and Paulie Malignaggi together. What a show that would be.
Now, BDA, where did you read that article? Now you're saying that who's calling for the fight? Is it Garcia saying he wants to fight him?
The rumor, yeah,
that's him pushing the fight.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
Because everything's falling through. He was, I guess, his lawsuit against Pacquiao wasn't going well because he was really upset. He was supposed to fight him for that. He was going to make the biggest payday, and then he was rumored to fight. They just tied his name to somebody else, and I guess that just fell through. So if he's chasing Tank, maybe that's the reason why they're saying. I mean, like Ellaby's reiterating that he's going back to 135. That 140, you know, he's too short for 140. If Spencer, if he's calling for it, maybe I don't know. Is he being disciplined now? Who knows? That would be like Chief said. That would be one hell of a feat. So let's see if he'd be too weight trained to do anything. But I still think he's got the fundamentals. And he can take a shot. I mean, he took Spence's shot. Does Spence punch harder than fucking Davis?
What about if Tank fights Broner? Because Broner's looking for a fight as well, isn't he? At 140.
Yeah, but I mean, who's looking for a fight with Andre Broner? Like, where's the fanfare behind his fights? Like,
Broner needs to fight either Antoine Russell, Gary Antoine Russell,
Rolly.
No, not
Rolly.
Yeah.
He needs to fight.
Rolly quit boxing yesterday. Swear to God, I'm just saying that's what he tweeted. I swear to God.
Jimmy, I read the tweet and I don't give a fuck. Like, fuck him. I know,
man. I just wanted to say that's what he tweeted, man. Nothing else. I quit boxing today. I'm done or some shit.
No. If he says because of mental illness, I'll believe him for sure.
You know, honestly, he's big on social media. He's always on his Instagram shit. And to be honest, what you do for young men, listen, it got to the point. I mean, I went and read his shit. I was reading his. It's cruel. It really is, dude. Some of the shit, like some of these motherfuckers, like just get nasty to these dudes. And if he's reading that shit and he's not a secure man, a young man at that young age, that could work on somebody, dude. And people are nasty to that kid.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it.
Like the way he called out, what's his name? Tank. He says, "I want to fight Tank. I'm gonna knock him out." Like he just got that stupid look while he's saying it too. He's like,
"Oh yeah." He had he's always got the same look. Like he's like while I'm putting it up on the screen here. Yeah, like a snarl, man. Like it's almost like somebody farted in the same room and he's stuck with him. This guy, but you know what? You mentioned the fact. You mentioned that the thing about people being cruel on the internet. First of all, that's the standard nature of the internet nowadays. Everybody's cruel to everybody.
Right.
But that doesn't make it right. I'm not justifying it. I'm just explaining it. But also, he brings it on himself a lot too.
Oh no! Listen, the cruelty in boxing talk, and I'm going way past like not even people saying quit, you fucking bum. I'm not even counting that. I'm talking like they go out and say shit about his family, his IQ, like dude, like really nasty shit. I was reading them like, God damn, man,
I should apologize
shut that
for
shit off. If I was a professional fighter, dude, I wouldn't even need, who needs that shit? Maybe hire someone to run a page for you and tweet out, just fight dates or something. Why get into it? Why put that shit in your head?
You know what, Jimmy? I'm going to have to apologize to him for that. Yeah. But, we got Pete. We got Pete dropping by. Uncle Pete. What's up, man? All right. He's not available.
Pablo.
Yeah, but, okay, so in regards to the Mikey Garcia. Hey, man, Mikey Garcia, do you guys think...
Pete, what do you say?
Nah, he's not on right now. Do you guys think 2018 version of Mikey Garcia would have beaten Tank Davis easy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a hot take regarding Garcia and Tank Davis. How you beat Tank Davis is you got to have an iron chin and you got to have an iron will. You got to be able to walk forward and take a shot. And I feel like Mikey Garcia could do that. feel like he can walk forward. He's got a good enough chin to take his best shot. And once you realize that he ain't going nowhere, guys like Tank Davis, their confidence folds. When they can't get him out of there, their best shot lands and they're still walking forward. All of a sudden, they'll wilt. Mikey Garcia, I got confidence in him. He can do that. He can do that.
Just his jab. Just his jab. I know it's lefty and righty, and I've talked about foot placement and all that in the past when it comes to the strategies. But just that jab. He'd just get that jab going enough to where it throws Tank's timing off, and Tank's the one that's used to dictating the pace on the timing, unless he's fighting Santa Cruz, who's, got marshmallow gloves. And so with these power punches coming at him, this jab throwing his time off, I see Davis being very confused. He'll have a few moments, but not enough to capitalize on.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, because you look back at Mikey Garcia 2017, he beat Adrian Broner. I think Gervonta Davis is like Broner, but maybe a little bit more explosive. But even then, they're pretty much very similar fighters, except for the stance and all that. But the stance. I think Mikey Garcia is just that he would have been too good. But now, though, we don't know if he could even make 140, like you guys were saying. We don't know if he's been training. Last time we looked, he looked like the Michelin Man. So it depends also on what type of shape he's in.
And honestly, I think I was going to say Giovanni Davis is how I'm Giovanni Davis. I know I'd say his name in Italian, but Giovanni Davis or whatever. He's already peaked, and he's only 24 years old. I say that by this kid puts his body through a lot. It wasn't an accident that he's 26. Okay, he's not an accident that, you know what I mean, he was so fucking shit-faced he abandoned his $500,000 car after he put 4 teenagers in the hospital. You know what I mean? He ran from the scene. He's being charged with 11 felonies. This kid parties. You see him on videos all the time. Totally shit-faced. There's a fucking snapshot of him at a fucking Chinese restaurant. Looked like he was pregnant. This kid eats well. You know what I mean? He fucking parties. So he's putting his body through a lot. Then he asked, did you see that training camp video? His last training camp? It was his first week against Red Cap.
Giovanni.
Oh, my God. He was... I thought he was going to have a stroke. Yeah, he was fucking sucking wind big time because he lets himself go so bad.
Things if Mikey Garcia doesn't fight at 140, who the hell is he going to beat at 147?
They're animals anyway, so let them lose their souls.
And the answer is
no. I don't want any of the soul in the streets or to the kids. If it were up to me, it would be sold to the, who.
You see Giovanni driving around with his brand new car.
They're animals, let them lose their souls, he says.
Yeah, but listen. Tank Davis, the fact is, some people could say, well, he's in good shape. Look at how he showed up. He looked chiseled or whatever against the last guy he fought. I forgot his name. But he didn't throw any shots. He didn't do anything for the first 6 rounds. So it's not, he might be pushing himself. And also, like Jimmy said, he might be training hard. But if he's gaining a lot of weight in between fights, that's going to catch up to him. Historically, it happens to every young fighter. Oh, yeah, you can lose 20 pounds within the span of 2 months. When you're 24, 25, 26.
Gets harder and harder every year, dude.
Exactly.
Things are with Tank. Sorry,
bro, go.
Wait, is it fair to say Tank? Is it fair to say with Tank that Floyd held him back though? Without Floyd, could it have been different with Tank?
I think he holds him back in his in the way I think it's a travesty the way he's matched him up. This kid, I was so high on him when he first came around. His explosiveness, his speed, and you can tell the kid's a fighter. You can tell he came from the streets of Baltimore with no joke. And he's just a fighter. But listen, they I don't know if what they saw on the outside, they knew not to try to save that as long as they could, but you can see the way they're matching them up. It's no doubt. Goodell will be talking all about culture and the people and this shit. But anytime they want to make some fucking pay-per-views, in comes a Mexican name. Let's just be honest. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And so I just think they're trying to push an angle, trying to make as much money because it's the only fighter in his stable. And so that's that. Well, my theory on that kid.
Manufacture greatness.
Bingo, great term.
Yeah, I coined it on this show.
I think I've heard that.
Thankfully, he's about the
PDA, you're
third or
welcome
fourth
to use
guy
it
in the fucking division. Thankfully, he's about the 3rd or 4th guy in the division at best, and that's at 35. Forget about 40. So he's going to fight in-house. He's going to fight over there. No outside fighters. Beautiful. Thank God he's not like number 1, 2, or 3, or 4 in the division. Thank you.
Well, it made
And
me
they're all
laugh.
Reggie belts. I'm sorry.
Well, it made me laugh with Ellaby saying, "Oh, well, you know, Tank. It's no point Tank fighting Josh because Josh won't bring the numbers." No, Josh would smash Tank's face in, mate.
Exactly. That was so. Listen, you know what? The simplest fucking rebuttal to that. If I was taking that interview, like that was just there's too many stenographers. There's not enough people would push back. You know what I mean? Like if he was to say, "Listen, why would I fight Joshua?" You know what I mean? Like nobody knows who he is. How would I say, "Wait a minute." So people show up to a boxing event isn't going to know who the new unified, only the 5th person in the modern era to do it in that same division, but yet they're going to know who Barros is.
And don't forget,
how is he going to answer that? You know what I mean, dude? So that was just a lie. Instead of saying, "Yeah, that's too much," it's just too much.
And don't forget the last 5 fights that the 5 fighters Joshua have beaten, their record in rounds was fights, 136 wins, 1 loss. The last 5 opponents.
All right, now listen, we got to move on from this subject. Yeah, the timer is over. Suffice to say, I think Jimmy, I think he made this whole discussion moot when he said that fight ain't happening. Mikey Garcia is not getting whether because Mikey can't make the weight or because they don't want to put Tank in there with this fella. Yeah, that's not one that would shake and bake. Listen. Shame. Well, it is what it is. Listen, we've been on for go ahead, Pete, what?
No, I just said fuck him then.
Oh, come on. Now see that
if he was the 1, 2, or 3 in the division, this Crawford over here and Spence over here. Okay, now everybody can talk, and he's the fucking 4th or 5th guy in the division, man. If you want to fight over there in-house, whatever that means, I don't know if that means Mayweather Promotions or if that means with Heyman Fighters. Well, sweet.
Well, listen. Beautiful. We got to move on from
Enjoy
this.
yourself.
Yeah, the timer's done, so we got to move on from that. Last subject here. Save the best for last, or the worst for last. Do you think John Real Casimero can retire Guillermo Rigondeaux? What are the chances that he finally gets old man Rigondeaux, the jackal, out of the boxing business?
God, let's hope so. He should if he's any good, you know. If he's the guy that could beat Nonito or give Anui a run for his money, then he should be able to take out this old man. This old man.
I just gotta say, I just gotta say, if Rigondeaux pays off the right people, if the only people he still owes in the fucking Cuban community are people he's not fairing, then he will retire, probably. But if he owes people that you don't want to owe money, because he owes a lot of money. I've heard that from way too many. Even Steve Kim giggled, because he's heard the same thing.
How much are we talking? 7 figures?
Oh yeah, millions. He signed for he sold so many pieces of himself to people down there. All right, look at the cop who used to represent him, the DA agent. He used to an ex-military DA agent. He used to run his Twitter account, the bald dude. He's actually fighting cancer right now. He's a family man. Good guy, man. He's a great guy. Yeah, he really respected Rigondeaux, and he was in his corner all the way. And then all of a sudden, a lot of people thought he bailed on Rigondeaux because he lost to Lomachenko. No. He found out during that camp of all the, he sold himself to a guy who owns a dealership. Man, I'll give you a piece of me for this. But he sold me so many slices that, you know what I mean? And then he, never mind just cash money, he borrowed from, I guess, a restaurant guy who's, you're borrowing 100 G's from a restaurant dude. You know what I mean? That dude isn't just some fucking guy flipping burgers. So he's that type of shit because, he just thought he was going to make all this fucking money.
He's a mover and shaker. He's a mover and a shaker.
He owes a lot of people money. That's the reason why he's still fighting.
Well,
this dude's got to be close to 50 years old, let's be honest.
There's a way to take care of that, right? So the way he's got to be careful now, he's better make sure nobody has a life insurance policy on him because that's one way to take care of that.
No doubt.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying that I would do that. I'm just saying I know that's a thing. People do that stuff.
Apology, many
Ugas even referenced it. Oh, sorry, real quick. But he even said, Ugas even said, because of other things I've seen and I know of, he said in the tweet, I've done real well. I don't mess with my money. I'm saving my money. I bought a house. Everybody knew he was talking about Rigondeaux. That's how upside down he is down in the Mexican community. Cuban community down in Florida.
The Cuban community, yeah.
Or maybe best thing if Rigondeaux has any brain just go bankrupt and then that'll admonish him for everything.
I mean, listen, it's awful to see a guy in financial trouble. I mean, again, because Rigondeaux, you can tell he's got a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? An edge in terms of not narcissism, but he's got a ego.
Oh, no, you had it right.
Because he was so good, right? He was a superstar in the amateurs. But at the same time, think about it. He's a guy from the Cuban slums. What does he know about business? You know, he sees a little green here and there. He says, "Yeah, sure, let's make it happen." So I don't know.
You're a financial advisor, BDA, if you don't know fuck all about 2 + 2 is 4.
But look, not everyone has access to a Rayful Shapiro like I do. You know what I mean? It's like everyone's blessed like that. So
a lot of those dudes get ripped off too. They do trust somebody and they'll get burnt. I don't know if that's what happened with him, but you know what I mean?
But you know what the thing though is, guys, and I want to get your points, your opinion on this. When it comes to Casimero Rigondeaux, I know most people would root against Rigondeaux because he's just been boring. He's been a bore for the past 10 years. But fucking Casimero reminds me of those people from mainland China that laugh at you in the subway because you know you can't understand him. He's always smiling. He knocks people down. He laughs in their faces. He walks away. It's like there's something that irks me about the guy, and I think. I think I might actually do the impossible and root for Rigondeaux in this one. How about you?
Well, Rigondeaux stood his ground, wasn't it? No, was it his last fight or just recently? Didn't he kind of stand his ground and throw hands? Well, I mean, again, dude, the fucking 6 years away from collecting Social Security, probably. So fucking he can't run around anymore. Let's be honest.
Yeah, man. But what do you guys think? Yeah, he did stand his ground in that against the Mexican dude, and then in his last fight was against some Colombian. I forget the guy's name, but it was actually he moved a little bit more, but he did drop the guy and hurt him. So the pop is still there, and he still got his legs a little bit. But what do you guys? Who are you guys going to be rooting for? Are you going to go with the old answer and say Rigondeaux, or is Casimero pissing you off a little bit?
Oh, Rigondeaux.
I mean,
I'll still go with Casimero.
I'm hoping the spotlight. I'm hoping the spotlight's fall from the ceiling and kill everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Casimero stops him.
You what?
Yeah. Are we making predictions of who we want to win? I thought we were just saying
Yeah, who would you root for? I'm
gonna root for Rigondeaux. I'm gonna root for his old ass.
Yeah, you know something. You know, maybe that guy needs a win to save his ass. So yeah, I'll probably root for him like spiritually. But Casimero's I'm gonna put my money on him to Baba Booey him.
Yeah,
but you know who Baba Booey is?
I really don't give a shit about either fighter.
I'll tell you what I like about Rigondeaux. I don't know if you saw that fight with him against that Japanese guy. With this Japanese guy was knocked him down twice in one round. All the fans were going ballistic, and then Rigondeaux kind of broke his jaw and just smashed him to pieces. I mean, to me, Rigondeaux has that sort of fire in him. He's got the chance, but to reignite that's gonna be hard at this stage.
I got Rigondeaux 100%. Okay, Casimero gets knocked out by a left hand. He's gonna run right into a left hand, 100%.
Gonzalo, are you in a trailer?
When are they gonna let you out of that fucking jail cell?
Yeah, Gonzalo, what the fuck?
He's in the bottom of the barrel.
Gonzalo, may I ask?
He's echoing, man.
Gonzalo, may I ask where you are right now? Because it sounds like you're in a trailer or something. In a tin can.
No, I'm in the toilet.
Okay, you know what? I shouldn't have asked, man. I shouldn't have asked. What am I doing?
I'm in the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, you're not on the... Okay, whatever. I think, yeah, listen, whatever. Listen, the point is, I think, I agree with Gonzalo, though. Rigondeaux still has power. He's got very good timing. And Casimero makes Ricardo Mayorga look like Sugar Ray Robinson in there. This guy is wild. He just jumps in with his chin up in the air. And it wasn't that long ago that he got outboxed by another Filipino guy. I forgot the guy's name, but he was wearing black trunks, and he's a pretty decent fighter too. So this whole thing about him just running through Rigondeaux, I don't see it.
Right. Yeah, Rigondeaux's talented, man.
Now, the interesting thing... Yeah, go ahead.
Is Casimero going to be able to handle a southpaw in general anyway, regardless of how old he is?
Right, because you know what?
Is that stance just going to throw him off altogether to where it's going to play into Rigondeaux's hands?
What's the sharp one about
What division would it be at?
He got
118.
Donaire clipped him, and
I'm surprised they're not finding him either.
Beat him. What's the big deal about Rigondeaux? Why is he washed? He just needs to go back down to his weight. He's just still got a left hand. Still dangerous.
If Rigondeaux does win, could he fight Inui after potentially, or that's gonna be a no?
Well, he'd end up fighting the winner of isn't Inoue rematch in Donaire?
Supposedly.
Oh yeah.
Well, I know Rigondeaux just got shot down from the WBO. Shot him down at his attempt of being named the actor because he wanted to call this a unification fight against Casimiro. They said no way, we're not recognizing Reggie Belts. We don't recognize Davis as a 135 or 140 pound champion, which through fucking, of course, then Ellaby shot back WBO, so it's and they shot him down. So that's what he was trying because that way he would put him in line for the Inoue fight, which would be probably the biggest money fight. So give the kid credit, man, for doing that old, man. If he's really looking to fight Inoue, God bless him.
So, Jimmy, are you saying the Alphabet organization essentially Bay of Pigged Rigondeaux?
What's that? Exactly. They Bay of Pigged him. They bailed on his ass. They told him no.
Is Casimiro Colombian?
No, he's Filipino. What's the matter with you?
I'm not saying I don't give a shit about this fight. I'm not saying that. I'm in a foul mood, I must admit, but Rigondeaux just better hope you don't get one of those. Remember the guy Hector down in Miami Beach? The chainsawed his buddy's head off. When he comes in to do his deal, he goes, I am Hector, and I am Guillermo.
Hey,
okay, you want me to go outside and do this again?
Yeah, I like how he goes, where are you from, Tony? I like how he goes, where are you from, Tony? What the fuck difference does it make where I'm from? Dale, I just like to know who I'm doing business with. You'll get to know me once you stop fucking around.
Fucking put his hands up into his stem. yeah, okay.
Fucking Hector, man. What a guy. Right away, you look at his face, you know that guy's trouble, man. He's a fucking scumbag.
Oh, with those fucking flat pants.
Okay, Chico, you want some big bucks, huh? Listen, go, you pay him.
Yeah.
That's it.
The whacked out fucking broad with the Mac 10 with the silencer on it. She just opens up like Jesus.
Get them!
Get them! What's the look on your face? I don't like
You got the best Tony Montana impression right now.
I hitchhiked to that movie, man. My first time I ever hitchhiked in my life when I was a kid. I was a teenager.
I fucking kill you. I fucking kill you.
I kill, man. It's Tony.
I'll fucking kill you, man.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Go, what's your name? What you from? What's your name? Bangkok? Sound like a bird flying around.
Fly pelican. He says, yeah, her room's too polluted.
No,
I love Manny. When he's sitting there, he's telling his sister he just got shot. No, I love Manny. I just executed him in his doorstep because I have an anger and fucking, disposition quality control.
Yeah.
Yeah, then at the end, when she tries to... What was that?
It's gold. That's comedy gold right there.
It's a comedy movie, essentially, man.
Well, the reason why I could take so many shots, they were shooting them with fucking AR-15s with small bullets. They're not going to rip through them like an AK-4. And on top of that, when you're jacked up like that on cocaine, unless you're, hit the heart or head, you can stand there. So it's not beyond the fucking realm that somebody would take that many pellets.
Well, Frank Warren, he wasn't on drugs when he dodged all those bullets when they tried to kill him.
Don't get carried away, Tony. Don't get carried away, Tony. You got hot tonight about the broad. Don't get carried away, Tony.
Yeah, like
Hot Mel Bernstein.
I like when Mel the cop. I like when Mel he tries to play it cool after they kill.
That's what he goes. He goes.
Frank, yeah.
He goes. He got hot tonight about the broad, Tony. Don't get carried away.
Yeah, you too. He's acting all cool, and they just. I'm not going to kill you. And he goes, or whatever the other do, kill this piece of shit. And he walks over and shoots him. And the cop just like nothing's going on.
Yeah, like he goes, don't go too far, Tony. I not Mel. You are. Pow! And he shoots him in that fat gun. Yeah. Oh, man. You can shoot
We can fix this. Yeah. We can fix this, he says. You can't kill a cop who says you is one. And he fucking... Yeah. That was a good movie, man.
Yeah, getting shot in the gut, man.
One more thing.
Yes.
One more thing, sorry.
You done with your shit, Gonzalo? What do you want?
Casimiro is too eager. He's too eager and too wild. I'm not going to call him sloppy. He's too eager to go for the knockout, and that's not going to cut it against Rigondeaux, even though he don't got the legs. He just got to wait for him as he collapses the pocket, as Casimiro's coming in, time him with that straight left hand. And that's all she wrote. That's what's going to happen.
I know who's really going to be into that film analysis, because we are going to do a film analysis for Rigondeaux Casimiro, so I know right away, I know Gonzalo's going to be on board for that one. But yeah, man, listen.
Have a good night.
What? No, we're not done. What do you mean? Where are you going?
Okay.
What do you mean? Okay.
This is okay.
Are you trying to confuse the shit out of me today, man? No pun intended. Shit.
Where you going? Where you going? Where you going?
Yeah, where are you going? Where are you going?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
But you know what my favorite part is, though? It's about Scarface. What they made, Brian Capallo, whoever directed, made it smart by making him likable. Like, remember when he fucking, the executioner dude, he threw his buddy out of the helicopter? I never liked that piece of shit. But when he was driving the car, he was going to blow up the car with kids in it. You're going to kill kids, you fucking piece of shit. He kept saying to him, no, he goes, no way, I'm canceling your contract. He blows the dude's fucking brains out right there in the car. That was bad.
That guy was
actually a really good scene.
That ain't they meters. That ain't they meters. All right, man. Get the fucking time one time, man.
Hey, Kevin, every man's got to have a code, man. Every man's got to have a code.
That was the best part of the movie, man.
That's
fuck that. I ain't killing no fucking kids. Fuck that. And he puts a fucking bullet in his head.
That's when I knew he was a bad guy, though, when he didn't kill the kids because he reneged on his deal. What type of man does that? You can't do business with a guy like that afterwards.
The thing is, the assassin is just busting his balls about 30 meters. 30 meters.
No,
like, all right, man. You have to tell me one time, man. The guy's doing
You're only going to tell me one time.
Hey, by the way,
what about when the boss calls and goes, yeah, man, that didn't go down. I had to cancel his contract. He says, Tony, he gave a speech he wasn't supposed to give, you stupid puto. Yeah. That was great, man. That was a good movie.
He was such a creep, too. That dude.
What?
Oh, the Colombian?
The dude who was the killer, going to kill the kids. He was such a weirdo. And this dude's Tony Montana's telling him, I don't think so, no.
He was good in he was in Breaking Bad. You know, the last time I saw him, you know, that actor.
Yeah, he was in. He was Antonio Napa in Oz too, like 17 years ago. Yeah, he was a good, decent actor. Decent actor, I would say. But like,
when he threw that fucking cockroach out of the helicopter, that was great. Tony, shut your fucking mouth. Then he goes in that, and they throw him off the helicopter. He breaks his neck.
I'm gonna go back to talk to Frank personally.
And then he says, make you move. That was badass. It's like, I'm right here. I got two things in this world, my fucking word and my balls, and I don't break them for anybody. So if you want to make a move, I'm right here. That was badass.
And change the game. Change the game.
A very quotable movie, man. Very quotable movie. It's interesting. It wasn't a success when it came out in '83. It went on an interesting run theatrically. Then they
rap music, hip hop music revived Tony Montana. Like everybody wanted to be Scarface, Tony Montana, and all that stuff. You know.
Well, and you got to remember too, BDA. The old man's going to talk now. There was a big pushback against that movie after its opening. Big pushback. The Cuban community. Listen, the Cubans, they did have a lot of crazy fucking gunfights and machine gun fights in Miami, but for the most part, they're hardworking, God-fearing people. And they didn't like the, it's like, we're new to the country, you guys aren't painting us in the best light. So a lot of theaters did pull it, and there was other things, stuff like that. So I just wanted to say that's the reason I think it didn't do as well theatrically.
I mean, the culture was pretty much conservative because, like, it was a war on drugs at that time. So.
That's right. That's right. When that movie came out was what? 1983. Three. Right. That was
3 years old that time.
Yeah, that was the drug war.
The drug war. Yeah, big time. That's when the Miami fucking cowboy. They call it the Miami Cowboys. Just think about this, dude. Right now, this is the one statistic. You want to put it all in reference how much cocaine was coming out of Miami in that time period. In 1981 through 1983, there was more cash. Liquid cash in banks in Miami than all the other banks in the United States combined.
That's where that saying came from. Miami life. At any time I could get my pockets right. It's that Miami life. Because all you go over there, get your hands on some, talk to somebody, just anybody.
Dude, they were fucking Ferrari dealerships, Maserati dealerships couldn't keep stocking. Guys come in with 4th grade jungle education. Seriously, whacked out jungle Colombians coming in buying Ferraris cash and pulling off the lot. Don't get a license.
Did any of you guys watch the Cocaine Cowboys documentary? I mean, that drug pretty much built that city.
Hey, real quick, fellas. Real quick. We gotta end this show, but before we do that, we got one caller here. Let's see what this is about. 626, you're on the air. 626, what's on your mind?
Oh, well, you guys are ending the show, huh? This is Chris K, Undercover Asian.
Oh, Chris, thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, that's about it. We can talk about anything, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you said what's on your mind.
Well, just don't start going into the 6 million and how it wasn't really. Just stay away from that.
Except that.
Yeah, no. I was just thinking. So I'm in the LA area, but I haven't seen any live boxing, since the pandemic. So I'm thinking about seeing the Rigondeaux Casimero fight. Is that worth seeing? Do you think? I'm pretty desperate to see a live fight. So.
If you can get in cheap, brother, Chris, if you can get in at the right price, PBC event. If you actually go out front, go early, you could probably get tickets. And even if you apply, you could probably, because they're always giving them away for those events to fill the stands. So try that. I'd go to the game, you'll get in. Dead serious, dude. Thousands of comps they give away at PBC events. So it should be, listen, just because he's old, it's still like, Gonzalo said it right, dude. He's got a nasty counter left. And he could that could be an entertaining fight. Really
Which one, Rigondeaux or Casimero?
Rigondeaux, got an unbelievable, and he's got power. That little dude can crank. And Casimero comes in wild. He charges in with his head up, and where the other one throws a nice straight left. It could be an entertaining fight. It could be. Watch it turn out to be a stinker because I said that. But it's more likely that's going to be a great fight.
There's also going to be Olympics boxing tomorrow morning. We got Team USA, one of the welterweight, and then a lightweight, I believe, in the afternoon. So that's like, if you're really desperate, you really got nothing to watch, like that's also there.
Yeah, I posted a link to the website. I think they have the live streams. So if you check the Discord, I posted a link. So if you want,
Yeah, somebody I know told me they woke up and they were watching boxing at 4 a.m. Wait a minute, what are you watching? I mean, yeah, you gotta be sick.
The timing is off. Like, all the events are 6 a.m, like 6:30. That's when the first fight is, and like all the good sports, soccer and all that stuff, all 6 a.m, man. It kind of stinks.
Well, yes, because it's a live stream in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. It's nighttime over there.
Yeah, the Japanese.
I think it's actually 12 or a little more than 12 hours on the other side. So yeah, it's prime time over there.
In the morning.
The Japanese are a bunch of wackos, man. Japanese are a bunch of wackos.
Hey, that's my people.
Sorry, Chris.
If you're bored in LA, man, if you're bored in LA, go out to Venice and get a beach chair and you'll see your fights for free.
BJ's bum fights.
Oh, come on, man. Anyway, Chris, sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot you were Japanese. anything else you want to say before we move on?
I'm just kidding with you guys. Yeah.
All right.
No, that was it. I just wanted to ask about the fight, but yeah, I might go check it out. So Jimmy said, if you just show up, you get free tickets. Maybe.
First, even call the win. A lot of times I put them up, but call the the win call window, for the ticket call window, and see if you ask if you're giving away any Groupons.
Will call, yeah.
I'm telling you, you can say anything. I know people even say like you're doing a fucking have a wish program or whatever, but they'll be giving them away. If not, they'll be slashed to like fucking neck dirt cheap the day of the fight. You watch.
Hey, Chris.
Because they're like going for $100 for the cheapest ticket on StubHub.
Whoa. That's not bad. Well, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
hey,
how much is it?
I get a street deal of $25.
Benjamin.
Listen, go check with Jim Boone. Jim Boone KO Tickets. I don't know if you're on Twitter, but KO Tickets. Yeah, you're on Twitter, right? Chris?
KO Tickets, okay.
Yeah, KO Tickets. It's at KO Tickets on Twitter. And Jim Boone, man, that dude will do you right. Great guy. He'll get you the best prices and the best seats.
Yeah, call Jimmy's guy.
Nice.
All right,
call my guy. My guy's Baba Booey.
All right, we just talking about Baba Booey, man. I see OJ. All right, take it easy, Chris. Thank you for your call, man. We gotta move on.
Thanks for taking the call. All right, see you guys.
Take it easy, Chris.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, I remember that call. I see OJ. He looks scared. He looks. How did they think? How did they know? How did they not realize that was a fake call, man? Well, I get that was in the mid 90s, so they didn't. I mean, crank calls like that they didn't get through all the time, but whatever. Listen,
the night, the times.
Yeah, man. I used to listen to Jerky Boys.
Oh yeah, Jerky Boys. All right, listen, fellas, we gotta go.
My wife's got diarrhea. She's shitting them FIFA beans out her ass sideways, Jerky.
When he my favorite way is when he calls the auto mechanic shop and he asks for, well, he doesn't ask for a job, he demands a job. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard, man. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't listened to it already. Jerky Boys auto mechanic, just write that and you'll find it. Anyway,
that's
listen,
hilarious.
Folks, thank you for joining us, everybody who joined on the Discord this Open Friday. I'm glad we revived it. We're gonna continue this tradition every Friday. Shout out to Virtuoso, recognize Johnny Walker, aka Kevin, Jimmy, A Prime, which was Kenshiro, I believe. One more week. David, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. David, thank you too for coming in. Who did I forget? Somebody else was here as well before the Chief, of course. Yeah,
Jimmy.
David, yeah. Chief was here as well. Pete, who said he was in a bad mood. And everybody else, man. Thank
For
you
a change.
Yeah, for a change. Yeah, he's usually such a happy-go-lucky fellow,
I just
man.
got here, man. Sucks.
Who just got here? What? Oh, Amok. Yeah,
Amok PvP.
Peace out, boys.
Well,
Peace out.
we gotta go, man. We gotta go. But thank you for jumping us. Join us next week. Next Friday.
So everyone have a good weekend.
You too, man.
Guys.
You too.
Stay safe.
Paracua says, hasta la vista, vato. Yeah, King Bucho wasn't here, but yeah, shout out to King Bucho as well. Shout out to everybody who in the chat, man. Mon Diggity, Norman Luis, What About Me, Reverend Pickles, GB Guthrie, Gonzalo was dropped by too as well. Gonzalo, shout out to Gonzalo, Steven Schneider, Reese Max, C63, Rinigan Sensei. I think that's actually Kenshiro. Or no, actually that's not. I always confuse. John Gonzalez, Lucky Zine. You guys know who you are. If I forgot anybody, it's because we gotta go. Everybody who called in, everybody who donated with the super chat. I believe I can check the activity here. No, I can't. Anyway, listen.
90 seconds.
Jeez. Fucking voice. All right. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you next.